The guy stroked the cat, calling him Nick. He confessed his life was boring, meaningless. But he finally saw a future. His magic and exchange skills let him get anything. He reveals himself. A giant paw looms behind. He grabs the cat, screaming in fury. In this other world, he'll unleash his power. Deep in the forest, a horse-drawn wagon with 2 passengers found itself surrounded by horsemen and foot soldiers, making one girl shudder. The other called her Karina. She pulled back her hood, muttering, "Weird." His parents and grandfather are dead, leaving him convinced he'll be alone forever. Funeral rites ended hours ago. Lying in bed, he checked his phone, shocked 10 days passed since his death. He checked his selection results. Kawakado HR thanked him for applying, but after careful selection, they couldn't hire him. He tossed the phone and stared at the ceiling, remembering their excuses. They kept his scholarship, claiming he'd just find a job. They were only grateful because his money paid for their university. They told him to get a normal job, not chase dreams he didn't have. Everyone talked futures, already living their own. He thought a good company would please his grandfather, but the room felt suffocating. A cat pounces on him, and he pets it, whispering it's his only friend. With nowhere to run, he hunts for a job after lunch. He remembered the box on his bed. Opening it, he found 3 old rings, picked one up and tried it on. It fit perfectly. The cat snatched a ring as the guy yelled for Nick to stop. Their rings touched, and a blinding light exploded. The guy opened his eyes from the blinding light, seeing a mountain peak. He didn't understand. Was it a dream? He saw only vast mountains and fields, clueless how he got there. A cat approached. He scooped and hugged it tight. He lay in bed, starving. How'd he get here? What happened? Then he saw a missing ornament and knew it was the rings. The rings didn't follow them back. They aren't on his hand or the cat's, but he saw her put one on. It couldn't just vanish. Are the rings linked to why he's here? That's why he's here, not like manga or anime. Is this another world? He heard a noise nearby and realized he was barefoot. In another world, he expected and prayed for cheat powers. He yelled, trying to summon stats, but saw nothing. Stuck, he felt a cat lick his face. He turned, claiming he didn't care, then saw his cat floating. He fell back, eyes bulging. He screamed, asking how the cat flew. Did Asterisk he get the cheat or the cat? The cat landed on his head. Lying in the field, he knew he was doomed. Nick has a cheat skill, but that's just the start. We need to see his true power. A game-like window appeared. It was Nick's stats table, never seen before, but it listed Daiichi Asakura's name. He had homeless man magic plus special skills, sharing and evaluation. It's his stats, he has a cheat ability, but he doesn't get the exchange. The assessment confirms it, classic cheat. The cat kept hovering, so he assessed it, discovering it wielded spiritual magic of earth, water, fire, and wind. He realized his cat was way cooler than him. His cheat skill paid his bills. Back in Japan, he'd still be lonely. So he had to fight to survive here. First, he must learn his assessment's true power. He crossed the field to the forest, pressed his palm to a tree, and activated his skill, revealing leaf width 15 cm, branch length 8 m, many leaves, and a 40 m height. The window flashed again as the assessment finished. He hit the button, the tree vanished, and he smacked his head in shock. This exchange ability was insane. His cat went berserk, and he dropped him, apologizing to the cat. He told the cat to move, blasted a tree, and it instantly evaporated. The cat sniffed the tree's empty pit, the guy asked, surprised, then pointed to the table. He magicked again, a tree filling the pit, and the cat leaped aside. Cat hissed, guy begged, don't be angry. Time to seriously test his abilities. The tree and his inventory exchanged for points. He thought he needed shoes, and the system had them. Selling the tree gave him the cash to swap his glasses for new sneakers. This exchange ability is insane. Now he'll survive and get rich. His future looks bright, motivation skyrockets. He shoves everything he sees into his inventory, trees and stones, quickly building a huge list. He bought an expensive chainsaw, grabbing it to test out, feeling hungry. Suddenly his cat hissed, looking away, making him ask what was wrong. Noises erupted from the forest as a massive black tiger charged straight at them. He thought it was cute, then the beast growled, dropping him. He tried to store the animals. It failed. He couldn't store birds or insects in his internal storage with the trees. He doesn't know why, but it only accepts plants, not other living things. Unarmed, he just needs to scare the tiger. He must strike first and kill it instantly. Staying calm, he watches the beast from a distance. So far, so good. Keep your distance. He needs 100 meters for the vault, his abilities honed for this moment. His cat hissed as the tiger advanced, but he reassured him it'd be fine. As the beast closed in, the guy used his storage, and a huge pit opened, swallowing the tiger. He unleashed his power. A massive container of liquid nitrogen materialized in the pit. The tiger fell in, its claws scraping the container walls. He claimed victory and asked the cat's opinion. It felt easy, but the cat looked away as a living tiger crawled from the pit. Panicking and weaponless, he watched his cat unleash its powers on the beast. Nick's spiritual water bullets hit like armor-piercing shells. The tiger advanced as the guy frantically searched his inventory, deciding to build a wall. He waited for the tiger to close in and unleashed his power. Cornered, he braced for the final strike, but the beast's movements were off. Something was wrong. This was his last chance. From inventory, he pulled a stone and hit the animal. It was over. He saved the defeated to inventory just in case. He set traps, acquired food, weapons, and tools. I bought a drone to watch what was happening. Camera showed a large expedition. Finding sharing too cheesy, he stroked his cat, announcing first contact. Later, 2 riders spotted a guy with a cat on a rock, and he greeted them. They asked if he was alone, but he pointed to his animals. The girl gasped at the cat, so he asked if they were really that rare. She said that often, but never in that long coat. He introduced himself as a Sakura Daichi and named his cat. Alicia Hartland dropped her hood, flustering the guy, but she just looked like a schoolgirl to me. The rider stared as the guy offered to let her pet him. She reached for him, but her partner's sword split them. She warned Alicia back, apologizing, as the sword girl eyed the guy, asking if he was alone. He claimed to be a merchant, spinning a legend of leaving his village to become a novice trader, then displaying his collected goods. That tiny bag is loaded with gear like a flashlight. The girls stare in shock. They've never seen anything like it. The swordswoman asked if he stole the relic from the vault, but the second girl realized the glowing tool had 0 magic. He realized their talk of a storage room, and magic tools meant statistics were magic. He set the lantern down, rolled it to them, telling them to take it. One girl held it to her face, declaring it no magic tool. The second couldn't believe it. He asked if they traveled together, but the ball girl said she only accompanied the second. Scared, he asked to join them to the nearest town, then asked the second girl's name. The first girl was cute and doubted a villain would ask this, but the attorney stayed suspicious. He offered to disarm if she was worried, but why hide weapons he can't use? His hands prove he's never handled a bow or knife. He laughed she'd figured him out. Confused, the girl agreed to take him to the main merchant. Happy, he thanked them for their help. The cat jumped from his arms straight to Alicia's. She stroked it, gushing about its cuteness. Ignored, he stood, hand out for a handshake, then turned to the guard behind him, hand still outstretched, and thanked her. She'd take him to the main merchant, but warned me to stay a meter away. She can't let the magician get that close. He asked which magician she meant, but she told him to stop pretending he was a lone traveler with no skills. He understood her point. She warned him to join them but keep his distance. He noted her sword's length. She called out his tone. He shot back, "What's wrong? They're the same age." She wants to, but warned him not to provoke an attack. He asked if he was that suspicious. She confirmed it. Behind them, the girl walked, her horse gnawing her cloak. She ignored everything but her flashlight. The guy turned, spotting a massive expedition. A carriage stopped, an old man exited. He asked if he was the one escorted to Karam. The guy called out. The man introduced himself as Klaus Bertram, caravan leader and head of the Bertram Company. Unaware of his influence, he stays polite and claims inexperience. The man then asks what he'll offer in return. A guy offered a bag of unknowns for sale. The man subtly signaled his assistant, who approached, and I grabbed the bag, handing it to the owner. The man opened it and froze. He called the guy either too generous or clueless about the price. The guy admitted he had no idea what it was worth, typical for this country. He weighed the deal. The man explained prices shift by location and time. Even grown locally, it's a rare, high-value prize. They called him honest, so he claimed to be a merchant too. Lying wouldn't help, and the man agreed. Everything went exactly to plan. He thanked him, crediting his grandfather's lessons. The man revealed pepper was valuable here, costing more than his homeland, then asked how much was in the bag. No country on the continent grows pepper. Imports are essential, so only the wealthy use it. His product from another continent lacked a permit. A man eyed him strangely. He flinched, realizing they knew he wasn't local. He thought his unusual appearance meant he's foreign. The guy agreed, but that meant trouble. He thanked me for the warning. The merchant wanted to discuss pepper prices, but he asked to wait, then asked if I wanted anything else. He wanted to be a merchant here, but as a foreigner, he lacked the local knowledge to survive. Could he help? He claimed he was honest, but the guy's naive trust only made him laugh. He can't just make him a merchant, so the guy asks how much pepper he wants in return. The man flashed fingers, but the guy knew hoping for free help was stupid. He pulls 5 pepper bags from his pack. The merchant approves. Grandpa taught him to respect trading partners, though he'd read it in a book. Klaus told Lloyd to take the pepper, then turned to Karina. He ordered her to accompany Alicia and escort Sakura to Karam City. Alicia readily agreed. The men headed to the carriage. The guy offered a handshake, thanking the girls who bowed, Karina agreeing to accompany him and the other joining, as they walked past, ignoring his outstretched hand. He asked their destination, Karina's boss. Alicia would explain later. The guy wanted to be called Daichi, no formality, just friends. She tried to protest, but he shoved the cat in her face, introducing his partner, Nick. The cat meowed in agreement, and her heart melted instantly. They locked eyes, he let go, and the girl caught the falling cat to pet him. Daichi approached her, noting she hugged Nick, then smiled as she blushed. He followed with a smug grin, asking her to hold him. When she agreed, he leaned in to tease her until she screamed, "Master," again. He pouted, prompting her to finally use his first name. He found it hilarious, but the cat clearly hated it. In another part of camp, tents were everywhere. A merchant sat at a table, asking Lloyd his thoughts on the new guy. He spoke their language too well for a visitor. His polite, clean hands betray a life of wealth and education. Klaus noticed. He asked about Pepper. The servant guessed he gave it as thanks, calling him a rich man's son or the dumbest aristocrat. Bertram knew he'd become a big shot. His storage keeps products perfectly preserved. Beautiful, delicious pepper on the table, he was right. Storage is a rare, God-given skill. Owners store objects indefinitely, capacity scales with their magic, and time stops inside. Magic bags store items. Capacity grows but is limited, and time doesn't stop inside. He faked using his magic bag to cross the sea. He's young, but his storage skill is elite. Now let's raid the vault for loot. They needed intel on the unknown country. The servant asked to drop formalities, but was denied. He must warn staff, be polite to him. He spotted two men in the tent. One revealed a box with an ornate glass. The hero was shocked that an average glass goblet cost a fortune in this world. Karina's short-haired sister, wearing a scarf, called from outside, needing help lighting a cauldron fire. Karina apologized she had to see someone off. He wondered why they asked if Karina used magic. He wanted her to make fire, she agreed. The girl thanked Karina, then asked if making fire with flint was hard. Karina just raised her hand to the logs, instantly lighting them. Fire spirit magic ignited the second she raised her hand. Nick's combat spells were lethal, but seeing magic used for daily life was mind-blowing. He asked if she always lights fires. She only does it when free, moving between the stoves, lighting each cauldron. Those without fire control use flint. Alicia explained they use magical artifacts. He asked if having magic power meant using artifacts. Turns out no. Magic dictates your job. Stronger power means higher status. Those without magic use artifacts, but everyone manages to survive. Recalling his past, he asked the girls, "Does life depend on magic?" Karina called Mr. Asakura. He shuddered and turned to the girl who asked for help. She looked devastated. His eyes widened. He'd said too much, covered his mouth, and cursed. He apologized. She just said it was fine, she's used to it. She lacks magic, but her team is incredibly kind. She's lucky, yet she says it with sorrow. His cheat skill made him a merchant, but he felt selfish. Now he'll use his power to help those without magic. He's shaking this world's foundation. Artifacts let anyone live like a mage, and sharing that secret will make him a hero to the magicless. It's just his imagination, but plenty of motivation. He called Carrot, handed her a lighter, an artifact to light a fire. He pressed the lighter button, demonstrating a mundane action from his world. Everyone was deflated. Karina called it tiny, having never seen such magic, but another companion noticed it looked wrong, transparent like a gem. He gave Carrot the lighter. "Try it." Her hands twitched, refusing the expensive gift. His lighter dropped, shocking everyone. He admitted her surprising strength, saying he wouldn't mind if she broke two pieces, just thrust the object into her hands. She lit the dry leaves with her lighter. They instantly burst into flames, so she tossed them in the oven, singeing the logs. She stared in awe, asking if the artifact was real. His home must be incredible. The hero wants people without magic to use magical artifacts. The girl asked if he was a foreign trader with amazing tools. She believes he will definitely succeed. She held out the lighter. He refused it, telling her to keep it. She was surprised. He sent his teammates to join them, but the girl begged him to wait. She refused to accept it, grabbing his clothes to stop him, while he insisted she wasn't that expensive. Suddenly, a tall, scarred knight in chainmail interrupted them, calling Karina and demanding why she was there, only for Karina to call him her boss and say she was on her way. Stunned by his massive size, the hero watched Karina introduce Captain Jeffrey and the MC, Bertram's business partner. Dayashai offered a handshake, saying he'd go with them to the next city. Jeffrey claims he handles Bertram's company security, but Karina's boss ordered her to watch him. Captain ordered her to join them. She agreed. Hiro wondered, is she really a security guard? Need an escort again? Captain then called Mr. Asakura, sending him too. He offered a drink. The guy refused. The girl, given a lighter, stood watching people leave, surprised. After a big meal, the hero relaxed in his tent with his cat, realizing everyone mistook his plastic lighter for a gemstone. Had he overdone it? Karina called Asakura from the street, asking if he was awake. He replied yes. She apologizes for being late. The boss wants him. He replies he'll be right there, wondering if his watch looks suspicious. He hid them for now. Jacket on, he worried about problems. Walking through crowded tents, drinking men stared, their attention surprising him. They reached a large tent, Karina insisting they enter. He pushed aside the cloth entrance, apologizing. Inside waited the merchant head and an accompanying girl. He kicked back his chair and ordered him to sit. Apologizing for the late call, the hero sensed trouble and offered to swap the goods. The merchant denied it, claiming his goods were perfect. The guy asked what was wrong, so the man slammed a mysterious cloth bundle onto the table. The merchant pivoted to the lighter. He remembered giving it to Curate today. The merchant held up his hand, begging for no misunderstandings. He hadn't kidnapped her. She just wanted to ask about a rare magical lighter. A stern man claimed he missed its true value. Stunned, he'd only planned to sell it as a simple household tool. He reveals this artifact is for the elite. Worthless back home, but worth a fortune here. Hiro asked if it was simple. The man shook his head. Non-mages can use it, making it more valuable than a normal magic tool, but its body is the problem. It sells for glass or jewelry. He remembered two men discussing expensive glass. When items hit the market, sellers will target the wealthy. He realized a problem he hadn't foreseen. If that happens, he's in trouble. The merchant promised help, but what now? He didn't want to do anything, but talking is useless. He can't shake this world's fate. He recalled selling the glass goblet to aristocrats, then pulled out a glass rose. Alicia next to her shouted, "So beautiful." Even the merchant looked surprised. Seeing their shock, the guy knew he overdid it. Merchant shouts, girl screams, as Karina's blade presses against the main character's neck. The merchant calmed down, claiming he was just startled. Karina sheathed her sword and bowed in apology. The merchant sighed and apologized for shouting. Suddenly, the hero remembered Karina's 1-meter rule. Why a meter? They were stuck in a tiny tent. The man saw the guy didn't move, despite the sword at him. He claimed she wouldn't hurt him, but he likely just didn't understand what happened, staying silent. The merchant urged calm to continue talks. The hero insisted Karina was blameless, all good. The merchant then asked Karina to step away, not to embarrass guests, and she agreed. He kept hyping the sculpture, claiming she outshined every jewel. The merchant doubted it was ordinary glass. She looked flawless. He pulled more glass sculptures and lighters from his pack, and the merchant noticed they glowed differently. He knows her body differs from their glass, but some will sell it high. He must fix their money, so he'll profit from glass, offering a lighter as a bonus. The buyer of expensive glass objects provides a free lighter, an everyday artifact, then shares them with the wealthy elite. The merchant offered him a deal to sell lighters in the market. It's risky, but their only choice. They follow his plan. Smirking, the guy confirms the deal. The merchant agrees, and he reaches out to thank him. They shook on it the first step. Exiting the tent, Karina bowed to the guy, begging forgiveness. The second girl said Karina did nothing wrong. She too was surprised and screamed. Daiichi replied it was his fault. He was surprised, she just did her job. He should apologize. Upset girls caught the guy's eye. He pondered. He gave Alicia the cat. She instantly melted. He knew it'd work. It was funny. He liked her smile better. She softened and smiled. He noticed her cute shyness, flustering her further while Karina watched with a blank face. Why the stares? He soon realized everyone knew he gave Korat a lighter. Scratching his head, he offered lighters, but Karina explained they just wanted to understand and talk. Is he a traitor, stranger, or hero? Did he chase a disguised noble's lover, or was he exiled for secret royal blood? He scratched his chin, praising her imagination, but Karina snapped those weren't her thoughts, and a third voice added that everyone there felt the same. Screams echoed from the forest. Men fled, monsters chasing them, begging for help. All three watched wide-eyed. Royal monkeys are coming. A man screams. Karina draws her sword, ordering companions behind her as hordes of monsters burst from the forest. Warriors charged the monsters, encircling them as a projectile pierced a creature's skull. Flaming arrows and spears torched the beasts while a bystander shouted to check on the team. Karina said they'd win, then faced the battle. A shout warns of southern reinforcements. 10 more monsters just arrived. The commander rallied his troops to strike, claiming they were stronger. Our hero weighed his options, watch from the sidelines or jump in, but was it worth the risk? He glanced at his cat hiding under his clothes, unwilling to reveal his full power. He poked Nick's forehead. Hide, no magic. He opened his vault, choosing weapons. Karina found it strange. Royal monkeys were hyper. She told Elise to find them hiding south in the forest. Daichi watched from afar, then spotted movement in the distant tall grass and yelled a warning to Karina. Royal monkeys lurked in the east. Suddenly, more individuals burst from the grass, charging. They're fast and closing. He needs any weapon. A monster clawed the guy's side, but Karina swooped in, skewering it. 2 monsters returned, charging Alicia mid-spell. Our hero screamed. He launched from his seat, earth exploding, and kicked the monster's head. He surprised himself. The monster turned, but a kick smashed its face, sending the beast tumbling as the crowd watched. One lunged for Alicia, but got knocked cold by a headshot. The watching girls stood frozen in shock as the guy flew back from the impact. A monster's hit drops the guy, but as girls rush over, he pushes up, asking a tearful girl if she's okay, and she nods yes. They hauled the guy to his feet, urging them to leave, when several monkeys reappeared behind Daichi and Karina, who turned to face them. Girl swings sword, guy kicks. A monster appears behind Alicia, just watching. She turns, noticing it. The monster opened its mouth, lunging. Daichi leapt in front of the girl, blocking it. She screamed. Karina shouted to a Sakura, but she was busy fighting a monster. He knew he was dead meat. Monster fangs bit him, but he felt nothing. He remembered Alicia casting magic without tools. He expected raw strength and stealth, but realized this was pure magic. He again spotted movement in the forest before a tiger attacked, and when a stone hit his head, he felt nothing. Switching to shamanism, he pulls a knife, charges it with magic, and stabs the monster. His strength and stealth made a cake. Seeing Karina struggle, he yelled, "Leave the monkey to me." He stealthily attacked the monster from behind, stabbing its back. The monster screamed, still standing, the knife too short to reach its heart at only 23 centimeters. He yelled at Tom not to run. He drew a dagger, stumbled back. The monkey turned, a menacing smile. He returned it as Karina's sword, piercing the monster's neck. He fell dead, blood splattering everything, even the girl. She swung her sword clean of the blood. The bloodied girl sighed as magic lowered the guy, only to drop him at the last second. She screamed and rushed to his side. He flashed a thumbs up from the ground, asking if the girls were hurt as his cat crawled out inside. Both girls rushed to help him up. Karina insisted she should be the one asking questions, while the other girl told him to worry about himself. Lifting him up, he asks about the defense. Karina says enemy numbers are dropping and victory is close, so he asks if he's still needed. Carrying aside her job to protect them. She remembered the monster biting him, a failure, and clutched the sword at her belt. He saw defenses shatter from a sudden multi-sided attack, the royal monkey's spirit crumbling. He questioned her, then spun at a sound behind him. Monsters feared the people, fleeing to the forest as Karina smiled, pointing, proving her words, and the guy grinned, finding her even cuter without the blood. He noticed blood on his palm. He conjured a towel in his pocket, then pulled it out. Alicia wanted it. She magically wetted a cloth and wiped his face. He yelled about the cold, but she insisted on helping and kept cleaning him. He demanded an apology, already knowing she used spiritual water magic. Baffled, he realized they wielded both artifacts and spiritual power. Spiritual power has 4 elements, needs an owner, and is reusable and stronger. Artifacts activate with nature's magic, needing no owner. He realized magic uses 4 elements, and spiritual magic trumps artifacts. She asked how he knew it was spiritual. Speechless, he called it a courtesy. She asked what he meant. His country values spiritual magic more than artifacts. Calling it an artifact is rude, as they're not valuable, so he called it spiritual magic. Girls eyed him suspiciously. Karina reveals only 20 people in the country use spirit magic, with barely 100 on the entire continent. He's stunned by their rarity. Alicia warned him to learn about the country before starting his business. He'd be glad if they told him everything while traveling, the guard sighed, admitting no other way. The cat thanked them. He offered to sell statuettes of their faces as thanks, but the girls instantly replied they didn't need it. The victorious warriors shouted with joy. "It's over." He asked to go together, and Karina replied injured people might need his help there. Suspecting the royal monkeys, the guard eyed the 2 men sitting nearby for answers. Is spiritual magic rare? Nick's artifact grants exchange ability, but discovery means big trouble. He must use it carefully. It won't be easy. The girl in bed recalled him on the ground, asking if he was okay. She found him funny. He was kind, but no one defeats the royal monkey unarmed, and he did it alone. She thought all was lost as the monster attacked, but he shielded her, taking the monkey's bite instead. Why did he do it? He smiled at her. You can't beat the royal monkey in one punch, but she remembered her grandmother's hero tales, now lying in her tent with Karina on separate mattresses. She tossed and turned, trying to forget. He wasn't afraid. Even after seeing her spirit magic, he treated her the same. Unlike her past, he was kind and smiled. She lost her mind, curling under the blanket. Next day, everyone hit the road. Karina yelled at the guy for refusing his horse. He'd never ridden one. As the caravan rolled on, the girls joined him in the carriage. He shook violently. Karina saw this was their best carriage. The guy turned away, staring out the window. Two nearby riders instantly looked away. Everyone was dodging his gaze. Karina agreed. He forgot when he got so scary. Last night's breakfast talk sparked a massive misunderstanding, and the lighter wasn't the only problem. Something was still wrong, but he couldn't figure it out. It was his tent glowing oddly. Karina noticed the strange light. He said it's common back home. Karina, grabbing his head, said next time he should warn them before showing his homeland's goods. He apologized and swore to remember, while Karina urged him to warn the merchant. Another girl, dying to see the goods, followed him straight to his tent. Girl blushes, looking away, thinking he invited her to his tent that night. Guy's shocked. This rom-com can't happen. She's underage and they both need to be adults. He winked, calling her too small. Alicia froze. Karina called him rude. Alicia's 20. He jumped, thinking they joked. Karina was 19 and they thought they were older. He yelled they weren't. He was 22. Karina froze as Alicia laughed, mocking her weird behavior for a grown man. He slammed fists on the carriage, demanding if they thought he was 16 or 17. The girls calmed him, saying his youthful look was a compliment, and apologized. He sighed, admitting he'd confused their ages too, so Karina suggested ending the talk. Ahead of the caravan, a man scattered pollen to level the road. He saw tied men on wagons behind them, finding it cruel, but Karina warned against sympathy. 35 hunters entered the forest for baby royal monkeys, but only 5 survived. He asked why they needed royal monkey cubs. Tamed from childhood, they became army labor wearing slave collars. The guy shuddered. It was a terrible name. He checked prices. 2 months max 20 gold, under 6 months 10 gold. He asks if they're criminals, but they say it's complicated. They provoked the monkeys and now must pay for yesterday's battle. It was a crime, after all. If they can't pay, debt makes them slaves. Adventuring isn't profitable. Karina smiled. She's an adventurer too. He begged for forgiveness. Steady work pays off big. Bad luck, 2 herds attacked at once. Alicia asked her, did they investigate the case well? They never checked if teammates survived. It was a tough world for him. Carriage wheels spun. He apologized for acting stupid around such girls. They forgave him. His culture clashed, yet he still tried. Karina told Alicia not to overpraise him. He placed a bag on his lap from the main merchant and invited the girls to rest. He pulled sandwiches and drinks from his bag, handing them to the stunned girls. He told them not to worry, it's just food from his homeland. He offered more snacks, urging them to taste his culture. The girls took his gifts, sniffing and inspecting the food. He told them to be honest. He needed their real opinion. Karina eyed the magic bag on his lap. Did the merchant give it to hide the vault? True. That's why products stayed fresh. He ripped the package open until a shout caught his ear. Glancing outside, he saw Takura village, a land of massive mountains, fields, and mills. He scanned his surroundings. Karina trailed behind, seeing nothing before he declared they needed lunch fast. He showed them a water bottle with transparent, sandwich-like packaging. He warned he doesn't show this to everyone. Karina reassured him, and he thanked her. He asked for an hour's rest, then if they could walk the village outskirts. Alicia loved the idea. Karina suggested eating in the carriage first, then exploring the village. After lunch, they'll explore the massive village center. She wants Daichi to see cultures, not landscapes, and they also need new shoes and clothes. She noticed his clothes, clearly out of place. He tugged his jacket, feeling conspicuous, then agreed to the plan, asking Alicia if she minded. Perina thanked him, relieved they'd return to escorting. The guy, seeing her, nearly had a heart attack. He cleared his throat, embarrassed, then asked how far she'd go. She needs 20 minutes, so he and Alicia wait inside. The carriage stops, everyone dismounts, and the cat runs wild. Hiro hummed, watching out the window as Nick ran to the girl, paws on her dress. Alicia wanted to play. The cat reacted and played with her. The guy watched them. They were clearly a couple. The girl's hand darted, the cat couldn't catch it, until one moment. Girl saw Nick's speed and magic, knew she had to match him. They both sped up. Nick and Alicia both have super strength. Unbelievable. She snatched the cat and grinned, realizing Nick was powered up too. She finally exposed them. Looking serious, he asked Alicia to keep their secret. She double-checked, he confirmed, and a blushing Alicia agreed since Daichai wanted it. Tension hung as they repeated names, until the carriage door opened and Karina walked in. Distracted, she smiled, asking if she'd finished. He saw its speed. Karina told them they'd stay 2 days in the village. He sighed and asked what happened. Turns out the royal monkeys did massive damage. The carriage is broken, forcing them to stop and rest. She finally eats, smiling at his offered sandwich, but her contented face instantly reminds him of yesterday's blood-soaked horror. He put water sandwiches on the carriage. Karina found the meal unusual. Alicia asked how to eat it. He said it was just bread. She needed to bite him. It felt incredibly soft. The girls bit into it. Their eyes shone. Karina surprised 2 pieces meat in the middle. Amazing. He agreed. The soft, toasted bread, melt-in-your-mouth meat, zesty greens, and sauce created an incredible taste. They noticed everything, even the vegetables. The guy smiled, offering more packages if they liked it. Delighted, Karina thanked him, clutching a mountain of sandwiches. He reached back into his briefcase, pulling out piles of fruit and sugary snacks. Nick starts meowing, but the guy tells him to chill. He's got a surprise. He fed the cat, but when he reached for a bite, it smacked him. Alicia laughed, saying the cat wanted to eat in peace. Karina sampled a cream and fruit sandwich. She was taste-shocked. He asked. She called it sweet and soft. He called it fresh cream, popular with girls. She found it delicious. No wonder it was popular. He offered more, and she said yes. He jokingly offered her a taste of some creamy dishes, and she agreed with a sweet smile. His heart skipped. He clutched his chest, glad they liked it. Karina then realized, asking if the food was cheap, prompting the convincing guy to scoff. "Do I look like I care about money?" The guard turned away, calling him a fool. He smiled, recalling the days he ate store-bought meals alone. Smiling, he pulled 2 cake plates from his backpack and set them on the carriage seat before the girls. Tents shot up everywhere. The weird-faced head merchant asked if he really hit the flying royal monkey. Karina knew it was unbelievable, but it was true. The merchant doubted he beat 5 monkeys, but she'd watched the entire fight. Merchant gave up. Wind magic lets her sense unseen movement. Not quite, but okay. Royal monkeys attacked Mr. Asakura last night. He squeezed his temples, exhausted. She can't survive their fangs, and Asakura's knife is useless. Only a sword can stop these 4 monkeys. He knows no one on this continent who uses magic without gadgets. Her fighting was weirdly identical. Kid can't control his sword or body, lacking combat experience. But he's capable of more. He can use magic without objects, she struggled to say. He's new to trading. Bretrade needed capable merchants. He's no merchant, but his knowledge is practical. She asked if he was a nobleman from another continent. It seemed possible. If true, it'd explain everything. The girl asked his order, but suspected his powers. He also hides his foreign origin, a vital secret since he's their key figure. Sakura saved them and their company, and Karina knew it. He needs her to stay with him, especially in Karam, because locals might be hostile. He wants her intel to keep secrets. She obeyed the order, seeing him as a hero. She smiled, recalling his smile and 2 cakes. She's back with the guys fast enough. Later, they find the village atelier. Inside, clothes everywhere. He tried them on, and I asked for their thoughts. The girls inspected him, Karina noting his traveler look as the cat meowed in agreement. He tugged his shirt, asking if it didn't suit him. Alice said he always wore foreign clothes. If he kept it up, what would people think? Karina said it doesn't matter if it suits him, it just needs to fit the local environment. Travelers can't wear those clothes, he'd stick out. He noticed sweets made her kinder, then got smacked on the back. He folded the clothes, declaring he was done. He told the saleswoman he'd take it all, handling the rest. He called her his sister. She smiled, saying she was already a little sister, too old. He leaned on the counter, claiming she was only 4 years older, practically a sister. The saleswoman smiled, calling him a flatterer. Her daughter was his age. They didn't look like sisters anymore. Pleased, she let him grab more as he checked the bill, and Karina nodded. He reached into his briefcase, pulling out a silver ingot to pay with instead of coins. Everyone gasped. Karina steps between them and tells him to wait. She slams coins on the table and drags him out while the stunned clerk stammers. They found themselves on the street. She yelled at Daichai, asking if he did this on purpose. Confused, he said he just wanted to pay with silver. She buried her face, realizing her mistake. He smiled, pointed, next store. Perina grabbed his collar. First, we go to Bertram's boss. Smiling, she dragged the guy by his neck, his body scraping the ground, a strange sight for passers-by. The head trader asked why. Looking up, the guy simply said he wanted to pay. While Alicia played outside with Nick, the merchant pointed at the silver ingot on the table and asked if he was serious. He'd never seen local coins. Back home, they used ingots, so he didn't realize paying with a silver plate was a mistake. The main merchant was suspicious. He failed to find out about the coins before their meeting. He had water, food, and everything in storage, so he didn't need to spend. Karina fumed behind him as Klaus rubbed his face awkwardly. Fine, if he says so, but he just realized he has zero local cash. He remembered, grabbed his briefcase, offered Bertram a sale, then dumped its contents onto the table as Klaus grew desperate. Later, he walked the streets flipping his new coins, remembering the warning to stay alert in Karam. His normal is strange here. The merchant warns, never show items from home, absolutely not. He approached Karina, asking if she was still mad. She said no, but her face betrayed the lie. He cupped his hands, begging forgiveness for not consulting her, then asked if he could cheer her up. Furious, she snapped that she was fine but hated his lazy attitude toward the escort job. He was confused, but it was all his fault. He swore he'd be careful next time. The girl turned, shouting it was fine he didn't know, but from now on he must consult her on plans and always think first. He agreed. Karina ran to Alicia, stroked the cat she held, smiling. Pleased, she decided to apologize to Nick, who was likely angry too. The owner's to blame. She claimed she wasn't mad, but Karina instantly drew her sword and glared at him. He quickly offered a pile of sweets as an apology. The girl, clearly tempted by sweets, feigned disinterest. She asked if he'd bribe her with sweets. He denied it. He recognized her from his homeland, where they apologized to girlfriends with chocolate. He gave girls sweets, and Karina either believed or faked it just for the snacks. If his words are true, maybe she can take it. The girls tasted the sweets, finding them delicious. They asked what it was. The guy pulled out more, saying he had plenty. The girls settled things so fast he got nervous, but they accepted his apology with a warning to be more careful. He swore it. They moved through crowded market stalls. He noticed many adventurers, not surprising for this village. Karina hated it. He caught their hostile glares, and he wasn't the only one who noticed. Daichi is unarmed, and they might know he works for Bertram. He looks weak from another country. Bad people will target him. These words were no joke. These aren't royal monkeys. He wants to hit the gun store. Karina warned him, no adventure, stay safe. Arms wide, he asks for trust. He's a peaceful guy despite his looks, but the girl ignores him, hoping the monkey fight didn't make him too cocky. Embarrassed, he pointed at the drinking adventurers and asked, "Who's weaker, them or monkeys?" The girls glared in disbelief, but he insisted he was only curious. Alicia knew, one-on-one, the royal monkey would most likely win. Adventurers team up using traps and tricks. Done talking about those creeps, he headed to the armory to gear up. Inside, a collection of strange balls caught his eye. Karina halted his enthusiasm, insisting they buy armor first. He tried on a vest. She wondered if it was too light, but Nick could still hide it under his clothes. She asked if he'd changed his mind. Alicia saw his kindness as he scratched his head, embarrassed, asking if she was serious. They had magic armor. The guy grabbed a huge shield, but Karina replied armor and shield didn't count. Alicia praised his stamina for holding such a huge object. He's wasting strength like he's dragging a billboard. He swung the shield, drawing attention. He should have hidden it, so he pulled out his weapons. He wanted a long sword, like in a fantasy RPG, so they walked to the sword rack. Karina asks about his long sword, but he only needs it for intimidation. He stands and smirks, acting smug. Lisa saw his talent, but Karina was speechless. His strength and magic armor were just too much. He infused his sword with mana, realizing it crushed basic fencing. Magic is a cheat code. Whoever controls it wins. Magic channels power into physical strength, letting him plow fields faster than anyone, and light fire like Karina, or he'll use flint. Mages monopolize magic items. Commoner skills are ignored. This widens the gap between magic users and non-users. Everything spirals. He sells glass to the rich, but aims to offer cheap, convenient products for non-magic users. He paused. Karina asked what was wrong. He smiled, turned, said he was fine, just remembered home. Then they walked through shops. They ducked into a deserted alley, and Daichi revealed what he'd learned while shopping. Frequent goblin attacks plagued Takura village, so the guild tasked adventurers. 3 parties, 13 strong, headed out. Unofficially, 40 people went, and Karina noted it was too many, even without knowing the goblin count. Plus, those who went might be inexperienced. They joined for a reason. We don't need many. He questioned their power. Some goblins use object magic, but generals and worse rely on raw physical strength. Crowds flocked there, and the guy agreed suspiciously fast. Based on their gear and skills, they're barely ranked D or E. Ranks start at H for students, while S is the absolute peak. A-rank adventurers become high aristocrats, outranking even counts, like a knight, but S-rank for immense achievements the king himself awards. S and A are honorable, exceptional. 7 basic ranks, A to G power doesn't depend on them. Ranks are merit-based, but D-rankers and above are battle-hardened veterans. He asked Karina's rank. She see he barely understands ranks but trusts her experience. He wondered where his rank was. After crushing the tiger and royal monkeys without even using his full arsenal, his power was undeniable. They must return to the adventurers. Unknown goblin numbers, yet too many are heading there. It's all highly suspicious. If Karina said anything, tell me. Alicia wants answers too, and I won't screw up again. She pointed at the cat, insisting even he wanted to know. She stepped close, he pulled the kitten from his shirt and handed it over. She hugged the cat, lifted it high, and bolted off to play. He got his answer. 2 months ago, bandits brutally attacked a village 4 days away, killing everyone and destroying it. He thought it was weird. Goblins infested the area, prompting a destruction request. But when help arrived, the village was ashes. Many adventurers went, but returned having killed no one. The Lord promised half the reward for killing goblins near the settlement. Abandon your post, or the task fails. Fail the Lord's order, and it's not a fine, but the adventurer loses trust. The public will deem them incompetent. To complete this, they must first expand the search area. She'd kill every goblin she could. Adventurers and bandits, all from one clan. Karina assumed it. He realized the village was next, giving him the perfect chance to crush the bandits. He remembered the gun in his inventory, told the girls he had to check something, and they agreed to follow. He tests homeland weapons, wanting Karina to see their power, convenience, and secrecy. She wonders if 3 people seeing it makes it too noticeable, if it's ridiculous. He and Karina just slaughtered 5 royal monkeys. Is she stronger than General Goblin? She snapped he was far stronger than the monkey. He shrugged as Alicia asked about Paul. Their strength lets them escape anything. He's glad Alicia can use it too, even if her power is weak. Nick lay on the girl's head, dozing off. Karina behind her stared strangely. He questioned me. The woods will work. She wants to avoid people, only attack from a distance to protect the caravan. He agreed and already turned to leave. Someone ran past, shoving his shoulder. The man screams aggressively at Daichi. In Japan, he'd be dead meat, but with En crushing the royal monkeys and Karina nearby, he's fearless. Daichi retorted the man bumped him. Suddenly, large village men surrounded them, also with their own interests. The man insulted him, so Daichi demanded how he dared say that. Locals turned toward the scuffle as nearby adventurers whispered over drinks, taking the guy's side. Aggressive men surrounded them, demanding answers. But spotting Daichi's beauties, they knew he wasn't poor and moved to seize his money and women. Karina warned, 1 step closer, they're asking for it. Daichi asked the girls, who's stronger, these people or a royal monkey? The girls stared, wondering if he was serious. How can they even compare? Men taunted Karina, asking if she was asterisk really cool enough to join them. She provoked them, sarcastically claiming fear. A man scoffed, asking if she was joking. Did she dare fight them all? If she wants to fight, move aside, one of them already claimed her. Heroes were stunned by this absurdity. They talk like manga characters, but telling your friend angers him. Maybe try weapons on them. He asked if they bothered the girls. 1 word, they're gone. Karina replied killing them meant trouble, but a few injuries for these guys? No problem. The man who hit Daichi's shoulder snapped, kicking him and demanding a fight, but Daichi insisted he's just a merchant. Karina warns that killing costs a massive fine. He realizes gold buys a murderer's freedom, and this twisted world terrifies him. He'll just hurt them. This is a lesson for adventurers. Be ready for anything. The men drew weapons and charged, shouting insults, but Karina screamed she'd stop them. Daichi again asked if he could keep them. She agreed. The hero stood, telling the girls to get ready. Daichi unsheathes his sword. The blade gleams, ready to strike, leaving the locals stunned. He tells the bandit his immense kindness spares their lives, but prepare for excruciating suffering. 2 men lunge at Daichi, furious at his arrogance. They're ready to show this kid their true power. Daichi tells Karina to handle the 2 men and orders Alicia behind him. The girls obey, ready to win. He could use his cheating ability now to get modern items and trade them. A Sakura Daichi pulls anything but living creatures from his huge storage space. He wields unique objectless magic, boosting his strength and items, eagerly planning to combine all abilities and unleash their full power. He struck 2 men, one collapsing on the other, yet they still rose, shocked by his effortless power. Bandit snapped back to Daiichi, horrified, as he unleashed a skill that could kill them instantly before they could even blink. A man's leg sank into the dark mud. He screamed, leaping back and waving his leg. The man couldn't jump far. The girl attacked at lightning speed. Suddenly, everyone clutched their wrists in horror. She'd severed all opponents' tendons. Stunned by the move, he asks if she really sliced their tendons, and she gives a quiet, confident nod. Men clutch their bleeding wrists, staring at her with inhuman fear. Girl aimed her sword at an opponent, declaring her strike a punishment for defying her warning to keep away from her companion. Horrified, the attackers dreaded the maddening pain, screaming for mercy and vowing to leave the pair alone. Blade still at the attackers, the girl ordered her message delivered to their allies. They vowed to obey. Residents laughed at the failed attack, whispering one woman defeated a group of men. Many saw it live. Suddenly, Nick in her arms meowed loudly and capriciously. Daiichi noticed, asked if he was asleep, then thought him lazy. Alicia stroked the cat, her face darkening, upset the noise woke him. She approached the men. She quietly asked for an apology, confusing the men, then screamed for the robbers to apologize to her kitten for waking him. Karina and the bandits stared, baffled by Alicia's sudden justice for the kitten. Alicia shoved the kitten at Karina's face, asking if she pitied the baby whose sleep noise interrupted. Alicia forced apologies for disturbing the kitten. They immediately knelt, profusely apologizing and vowing silence. Nick the kitten meowed. Alicia winks, telling the men her pet is kind, so they're lucky and will return home safe. Karina wipes her brow, relieved. A magic cat is a nightmare that could have caused total destruction. Karina asks Daikai about the weapon he used to sever the bandit's leg, accusing him of massive overkill. He shrugs it off, reminding her she shredded their tendons and neutralized them in a split second. They set off. At a small bridge, Karina explained water magic heals wounds but can't cure severed limbs. Karina warns royal capital treatment is expensive, but he knows water magic will restore him if he gets hurt. Karina and Nick can help if needed. Asakura Daiichi praises Karina, noting the bandits won't recover soon. The men writhed in pain, not expecting such a reception. The girl explains men use dirty techniques instead of direct attacks. Wait at a hotel, but he fears an ambush even in their tent. Karina agrees, and he drops to his knees for a traditional apology. They reach the dark forest sign. Karina asks how he took the man's arm, unable to explain his magic. Karina calls his bluff, knowing he instantly took a bandit's leg. He admits his skill is unique, leaving the girls stunned and waiting for more. He claims this skill doesn't exist on the continent. Alicia tries to object, but he keeps talking about his homeland, clearly hiding the truth. Karina silenced him with a raised palm. She insists only one person has this skill, confusing him why she'd mentioned such rarity. Sakura exhales, scratches her head. Smiling, he looks at hooded Nick and explains he left his homeland because of this skill. He covers his face, realizing his rare power put his family in danger and forced them to flee. He asks the girls what they think. Karina and Alicia bowed their heads, realizing he made a brutal choice to save their families. Only someone who truly cares would sacrifice this much. He walks, suggesting Karina and Alessia want his story. The girl says it's fine, Daiichi doesn't have to tell them. Daiichi turns, smiles softly, and says this story's their secret. A bullet appears in his palm. He explains his unique skill, instantly creating lead and iron, then shooting them with fire to hit foes, just activate the ability. Karina stares, intrigued, at the bullet on his palm, shocked such a tiny piece only targets limbs. Daiichi explains fire-powered bullets hit with insane force, shredding limbs and causing something far more terrifying. He catches the bullet, explaining its devastating power. Karina can't imagine its danger. Her previous skills toll already hits hard. The guy wants to train with the girls, showing Karina and Alessia his unique skill for combat tips. Karina thinks he's done, but he refuses, wanting to test his power and show a glimpse of his true strength. Burning-eyed guy offers a snack post-experiments. Karina, thinking sweets again, never considers other options. He tells her salty snacks are an option, not just sweets, then asks Karina what she wants after the experiment and evaluation. A shy Karina loves the treats, and he's hyped he won her over, dying to see if she's impressed by his skills. Karina smiled, agreeing. He instantly knew her weakness, sweets. Alicia couldn't grasp her friend's sweet obsession. They reached a remote spot. He scans, realizing his skill needs an open field, not a forest clearing. Perina warns them not to be picky. Who knows what monsters lurk here? They must be careful to avoid unwanted battles. Sakura asks Alicia to hold Nick during the experiment, and she happily agrees, eager for more time with her pet. The guy notices Nick is immensely happy. Alicia spoils him too much to be unhappy. Suddenly, the kitten, nuzzling her face, crawls into her dress, deeper into the neckline. Alicia pulled the kitten out, sternly calling his name so the pet understood he misbehaved. Sometimes Daiichi feels she and Nick understand each other without words. Wait, let's make it even more YouTube recap style. Daiichi beams, praising his pet for a clever move everyone envies, spotting his weird joy. Thanks to his skill, he pulled a diggle from his world, its powerful bullets blowing off the bandit's limb. Sakura opens the vault in her palm, instantly readying a diggle and unleashing his skill. A bullet blasts the tree trunk, splinters flying, shocking the girls. He wanted his friend's opinions, but Alicia only marveled at the magic she'd never seen, so he clarified. Opinions, not surprise. She misses his words and quickly apologizes, asking Daichi if that's really not the lead piece he showed earlier. Karina touches the tree, asking if the skill is reusable and if spamming fast magic is hard, then shuts down all protests. She explains CD magic users hit multiple targets, but EF ranks sacrifice power for constant use. Karina warns the speed is invisible. Daichi ponders, comparing it to slower earth magic attacks. He likely won't need it anyway. Being a magician is like carrying a gun. Even low-ranking ones are dangerous. Their minor skills cause irreparable harm. Karina doesn't understand a Sakura. How can non-mages resist a low-rank mage's attacks? This system is tough for New Worlders to grasp. A person with attacking magic is stronger than an adventurer without abilities. He then realizes he's still using magic without objects. He questions if combat casters are real mages, but Alicia explains they're just guild members ranked F or higher. Karina's magician levels differ from adventurer ranks. Distinguish these separate systems to fight smarter. Sakura Daiichi asked about differences while the girls ate, but suddenly, Karina's happy experiments are over, meaning they can snack and forget battles. He warns them things are getting serious and tells the girls to watch closely. Daiichi needs their advice for the future. A huge weapon erupts from his hand, blasting the same spot the prior attack hit. The drumming was so loud, girls covered their ears. Bullets strike the tree, but his aim is off. He needs more practice. Nick's water bullets are powerful and perfectly accurate. Alicia explains attack magicians hit only one target. Karina confirms it. He realizes Nick's water powers outclass even powerful battle mages, so he must keep his pet's true abilities secret for a trump card. The guy asks the girls if they can blast through this tree with magic. Only an elite magician can. Karina realizes if blast magic struggles to break stone, a huge tree is impossible. A Sakura's task is daunting. Karina asks Alicea's plan. She says 3 earth object users and 1 spiritual mage give them a shot, but they still need a perfect marksman. Unlike basic water bullets, this magic is weird. High-class spells are extremely rare and take insane luck to find. Karina calmed Daiichi, guessing he just wanted to shoot that big tree to impress the girls. He smiles, realizing Nick's magic is his trump card. The guys break for a snack, setting a table among the trees to enjoy strawberry cakes and rare relaxation. Sakura Daiichi asks about magician ranks, but the girls just wanted a quiet meal after their long journey and tedious, yet interesting skill presentation. The guy reminds me he wanted to talk. The girls ask, and he excitedly reveals his plan to open a village shop, which they patiently hear. He wants to open a shop here, but the girls, speaking in unison, clearly didn't expect his offer, each holding a different opinion. Karina hates the plan. It's terrifying. She fears he'll sell weird items to clueless villagers again, but Felicia is hooked. The guy listens to speeches simultaneously, so Sakura wanted them to see his shop plan before Klaus's head saw him. He showed Alicia the plan, since she uses magic items, ensuring the girls knew his strategy. Sakura pulls matches and lighting sticks from her bag, fascinating the girls who'd never seen such objects and wondered their purpose. Alicia and Karina inspect the objects, but he can tell they're clueless. It's not every day you find gear from another world. Guy lights a match. Sakura reveals it's water-resistant. A small, bright, persistent flame instantly ignites the wood. Karina thinks it's magic, but Alicia disagrees, feeling no power. The girls wondered how to get fire without magic or objects. He explains it's not magic. Anyone can use it, even those without attributes. Daiichi says these matches light easily and can ignite anything. He demonstrates, tossing a flaming board onto dry leaves which immediately flare up. Alicia asks if matches replace magic. He pours liquid on leaves and agrees, proving his world's items are totally normal. Daiichi wants to sell these items to anyone unable to use magic. Giving them power is a noble move. Eating cake, Karina doubts selling to commoners is profitable. She can't grasp Asakura's goal. The guy vows to make life easier for them. He'll sell the right gear at prices anyone can afford. Karina stares in disbelief as Alicia watches with pity. Daiichi asks what happened, but the girl shakes her head, insisting she's fine. He rants about the rich hoarding rare items, but Karina admits she never noticed. She's just too busy to care. He ignores her, claiming the rich can buy anything, but Karina frowns, insisting she hasn't even thought about it. Alicia knows they'll succeed, but warns Daiichi to sell consumables before his plan backfires. Daiichi knows supplies are easy to find, and Karina realizes his massive storage means he'll never run out. Sakura knows the danger, yet promises to improvise. Alicia can't fathom his carefree attitude. Does Daiichi truly believe it'll be that simple? He smiles, seeing no challenge. He'll brief head clouds on the sales plan. The guy looks ahead, confident hard isn't impossible. The girls eat sweets, realizing they can't convince Asakura Daiichi. The girls crush their second cheesecake as the guy grills Karina about her elemental magic and its limits. Karina lists water, fire, and wind. Daiichi excitedly asks how much elemental magic she has. Alicia stares at her hands, modestly claiming mastery over every element. You'd never guess this sweet girl hides such insane power. He's stunned, Alicia's even cooler. Karina explains Alicia's full magic mastery is a huge secret. Daiichi realizes pressing the girls further would intrude, risking his relationships with Karina and Alicia. Karina scolded Alicia for hesitating. Alicia apologized, but this secret was too dangerous to share. Asakura figures they're guild magicians, meaning they can finally spill the ranks Daiichi's after. Karina agrees she and Alicia are high-ranked. A rank is strongest, weaker ranks follow the alphabet. It's so simple even an outsider gets it. Sakura Daiichi was stunned by the girls' power, realizing his assumption of their weakness was dead wrong. They were formidable mages. The guy claims Karina's looks don't make her a skilled magician. She fought the royal monkey with a sword, not magic. Confused, Asakura demanded an explanation. Karina explains her rank and objectless wind magic. Daiichi wonders if she used magic against the royal monkeys. Karina says she used raw strength because she didn't have time to charge her magic. Karina remembers Asakura used wind magic, wasting his energy. An unwise decision, since long fights demand distributed power. He apologizes and offers her a taste, claiming it's like whipped cream. The cup looks irresistible. Perina notices the guy's kinder, and the ice cream looks creamy. She spoons a small taste and immediately melts in delight. Daiichi asks if Alicia is B rank, but she admits she has zero experience. Seeing the royal monkey paralyzed her with fear. Daiichi asks if she can use magic items. She agrees, using her enchantment skill to win the brutal fight. He clarifies the enchantment skill. Alicia explains magic items used against witchcraft boost performance. Enchant an object with fire, it gets fiery properties. Sounds simple, but it demands tremendous skill. Alicia explains that understanding a power lets anyone exploit it, even without magic. If an item holds the energy, she can use it. Daiichi claims one magical item equals 4 enchanted ones, but Karina warns it's not that simple. Alicia reveals enchantment magic is limitless. An object ignites. With a high-class toolkit, users seem to control fire size, but it's expensive. This item is dangerous, use it less. Try to light a stove, it might shoot harmful fire bullets. He asks if she was born enchanted. Karina confirms it's an innate talent. Such talent is very rare, but Daiichi got lucky. He nearly ditched magic crafting. He wanted an enemy radar, but it was way too bulky to wear. Daiichi won't overwork Nick, his secret weapon, but in a pinch, he forces him to use water magic. Polina thinks Nick could detect enemies with Karina's wind magic, so he asks her to demonstrate finding foes. Karina was skeptical it could be instantly shown, so she held back her skill, feeling the timing was wrong. The guy sweet-talked her, insisting it was fine. He pushed Karina to show off her skill. Plates empty, Karina closes her eyes. A large circle like a monster radar appears above her. A line moves inside, activating her skill. Nick reacted, his calm gaze turning to fear. Sakura Daiichi noticed, but Karina's skill uncovered grim results. Karina hunched, eyes closed. She frantically begs him to wait, sensing a presence nearby. They need to be careful not to get into trouble. He suggested a monster was nearby. Karina, ignoring him, insisted it was big and moved. She thinks it's a man. He wonders what happens in this dense forest. Suddenly, he realizes with horror, these are bandits who could easily kill or harm them. Karina can't count the nearby bandits. Alicia declares about 8 bandits. Karina thanks the girl. She apologizes, calling it a rough estimate and warning against relying on it. This helped Sakura and Karina keep their Nick's ability secret. Karina smiles, agreeing this is better than her unreliable wind magic, giving them accurate info for their search. He realizes Alicia isn't as graceful as she appears. No wonder Karina wants to keep everything secret. Karina isn't the only one hiding Alicia's info. Klaus and Captain Jeffrey are too. He knows this isn't the time for such thoughts. He questions the bandit count, asking the girls if the numbers dropped and suspecting they're actually an adventurer party. Karina already drew her sword. It could be coincidence, but it's probably not, so the guys must be ready. Karina gloves up, then grimly warns the guys back until they identify their targets. Ignoring the guys, the girls and Asakura pack up fast and trek through a forest of massive trees and deep shadows. Daiichi has a priceless skill. He gets whatever he wants, even if he tries to avoid it. 8 enemies appeared. If bandits, he and Karina can defeat them and protect Alicia. He asks Karina to hide. The girl warns it's dangerous, tells him to sit quietly. They don't know their opponent's magic and skills. Nick also sensed someone powerful. The kitten pops from his sweatshirt looking wary. Nick's reaction confirms it, they're banned. The guy won't spare the village destroyers. He's ready to unleash his full vault arsenal so they get what they deserve and can't escape. Karina warns things are spiraling. He asks what happened, but she turns to face even more enemies. Karina warns them of 20 opponents. That's too many. Asakura can't use all his world's items for defense. If they're bandits, their hideout is nearby. Finding it ends this for good and saves the village. Alicia tried to offer Karina something, but Karina instantly refused, cutting her off. Karina then urged the guys, return and report everything to Head Bertram and Captain Jeffrey. The guys are back. Captain Rad, glad they're back, calls Jeffrey over. Jeffrey's happy to hear his proposal, but has no idea what Daiichi wants. He stands up, asks them to wait, and offers tea. He grabs the kettle and starts pouring. The guy refuses, asking to discuss with the man before Captain Jeffrey arrives. Asakura worries, but he's determined to see it through and won't back down. The man smiles, pouring tea. He asks a question, letting him speak freely. Klaus listens intently as Daiichi prepares to speak. Daiichi announced he's opening a store, but the captain's roar nearly blew the tent away. Daiichi covered his ears as the whole village heard, forcing the embarrassed captain to apologize. Daiichi set waterproof matches. The man stared, surprised, asking if he'd really sell them and what they even were. Asakura Daiichi lights a match. It burns brightly. He explains it needs no magic, surprising the man who thinks one thing. The men hold a match. Amazed and curious at the unknown object, he realizes it's single-use and asks if its time is limited. He agrees confidently. Daiichi knew the product would be in demand, wanting to sell it to non-magic users. The man tensed, hearing he'd sell goods to the public. Captain Klaus asks their price for his store. He prices goods at 2 silver coins each, charging 2,000 yen when water-resistant matches only cost 1,000. He's not doing charity, it's business. The man nods, understanding perfectly. Klaus asks the flint's price, and the guy says 60 grand equals 1 silver coin. The man indignantly slammed his hand on the table. He couldn't grasp why it cost so little compared to matches. Sakura explains the match ignites easily, despite its water resistance. He suddenly turns, heads to his locker, and addresses Karina. He pulls out a weird stone device with a metal handle and orders Karina to light a fire. Karina struck metal against stone, igniting the paper on the plate. Smoke instantly flooded the room. He gets it, wondering how hard it is to light a fire without matches. Daiichi knows he'll sell more flint if residents can light fires with silicon and metal. Klaus suggests selling flint for more, asking Daiichi's thoughts. Daiichi then offers his take on these unusual, magic-free goods. He suddenly remembers the sweet smile of that magicless girl. Daiichi refuses the man, convinced he'll sell flint for 1 silver coin. Awkward silence settles between them. Daiichi knows he can't compete with the man, Klaus the Golden Crane, head of the Klaus Company, who needs protection. Asakura felt embarrassed, wondering if the man would approve this charity-like business. But the guy firmly pursues his goals, awaiting Klaus's answer. Head Claus understands, stroking his mustache. He agrees, not opposing the case after Asakura speaks. The man realized he couldn't convince Daiichi. He pulls out more items, including a rose figurine and a mysterious bag. He offers them new gear, claiming these goods are strictly for royalty. The man, thrilled, asks what else is in stock when Jeffrey's voice suddenly sounds from the tent entrance, back from Klaus's errand. He asked for patience, promising a later reveal. They quickly agreed, sealing the unusual trade and his store's opening. Jeffrey peeks out and enters, blocking the exit as Klaus demands the truth about the forest and village. Klaus is serious, and Asakura, Alicia, and Karina already pondered the man's question. Bandits raided the village. Now robbers swarm, mercilessly destroying everything, while a suspicious group lurks in the forest. Shadows hide in the forest to reveal the truth. Chapter Clause offers a suggestion, and the man asks Jeffrey who he is. Jeffrey says they might be hunters or adventurers, but since the bandits attacked the village, more bandits appear on roads near the forest. It's very likely these are the same bandits. Someone suggested dealing with them like the last time. Jeffrey agrees. He waits for orders, suggesting they split to explore the forest thoroughly to ensure no danger. The guy wonders if the caravan and guards can defeat the bandits. Klaus says he wants to organize the search, but didn't plan to divide guys into groups. Jeffrey thinks Karina should have joined the search from the start. Klaus agrees it's a good idea. Another guy raises his hand, wanting in and assuring security. Alicia wants in too. Klaus points at the group. Alicia and the boy are his guests, and risking them would ruin his reputation, so he apologizes and rejects the offer. Karina flips the page, liking that Alicia and the guy are joining the search. Karina told the boss Asakura fought well against the Monkey King, but she hid his secret skill. Karina adds Asakura wields unusual weapons and masters destructive attribute-less high magic, unleashing tremendous damage. Karina claims Alicia can dodge danger, so Claus asks if the guests will survive. Karina says Asakura has the camp's top firepower, and his elite physical stats let him escape any enemy easily. Alicia enthusiastically raises her hand, offering a magic remote attack if needed. Klaus and Karina then agree to stop. Alicia, upset, feared Klaus saw her as a nuisance, but head Klaus denied it, and Karina told Alicia to stay out of the fight for her protection. Alicia lowers her palm, looks sadly at her. Asakura guesses from others' reactions Alicia holds status, perhaps from an aristocratic family. Headcloth gives his crew the go-ahead, ordering them to avoid fighting. Getting home safely is top priority. Klaus puts Jeffrey on standby. Karina leads the search. He'll choose the rest, stressing the right team is crucial. Guys understood instructions. Ashes died on the saucer, smoke rose. They left camp. Karina confirmed only 5 in their search group. Karina captains a squad with Mrs. Alicia, Daicha, and 2 other guards. The commander will tell them Nick's an expert in attribute-less magic. Asakura trusts Karina completely. She has everything needed for this case. Karina thanks the guy, warning some shouldn't know Asakura's true power. Karina turns and smiles sweetly, resting her chin while calling everyone hilarious. Asakura is baffled and decides to stay on guard. Karina closed her eyes, suggesting they disguise Asakura's unique skill. He's perplexed his skill is already disguised, nothing more is needed. He'll think about it on the way with the guys. Karina suggests options, a melee weapon like a katana. Karina calls Dennis and Frida, offering them a job. Dennis turned to Karina, understanding dawning, called her lady, and asked what happened. Frida saw Karina's excitement, wondering the same. Frida and Dennis are young. The girl wears a ponytail and the guy looks unusual. Karina felt a suspicious group of 20 in the forest, so she asks Frida, Dennis, and the guys to join her to confirm it. Dennis strokes his stubbly cheek. He doubts a search for 20 people, especially now, will pay off. Frieda gave a soft, sweet laugh. Her partner just had bad luck on a lucrative job. He apologizes, explaining his principle is easy money. Dennis hopes his partner understands. Asakura notes their dialogue is witty. They're clearly true professionals. Karina tells Frida and Dennis they'll get the details on the move. Newcomers ask about Asakura and Alicia. Karina starts her tale as they push forward. Karina puts herself and Asakura in the vanguard. Alicia takes the center. Dennis and Frida cover the rear. Dennis shouts to him, shocked this ordinary merchant can actually fight, leaving Asakura stunned. Daichi couldn't grasp why the man missed him, yet the guy grinned, embarrassed by his combat skills. Last night's Monkey King fight was his second straight. The man shouted his win over royal monkeys in Battle 2 proved his talent, then slapped Asakura's back in approval. He hated formalities, so he told me to drop the mister and call him Asakura or Daichi, but settled on Daichi. Dennis heard Daichi plan to open a city store. The man seeks to confirm these rumors and asks Asakura. The guy confirms Dennis guesses. Even though it's his main goal, he doesn't know if he'll stay. Dennis picks Karam for his trade business. It has a large population and is a key strategic point on the trade route connecting the capital and port. Asakura thanks the man for the useful info. Dennis suddenly offers to escort her to Karama Daichi. Dennis had other plans. He hoped Daichi would sell rare foreign goods in Takura village. Asakura finally understood. He just wanted to open a kiosk after the search. Daichi wanted to trade foreign items, surprising Dennis, who questioned his unusual car. Asakura Daiichi's product lights fires. Dennis nods, having heard rumors, but Asakura shatters his expectations. Daiichi strikes a waterproof match, and it ignites instantly. Dennis stares in disbelief, convinced it's magic. Frida was stunned by the trick. Karina lines up the guys as they close in on the 8 people she sensed. Nearing the forest, the guys asked if Karina sensed anything. She shook her head no, but they couldn't relax. Vigilance was key. Dennis strikes a goofy pose to cheer the guys up, telling a restless Karina he's always ready for a fight. Nobody liked Dennis's move, and he inspired zero confidence. Asakura steps forward as Nick rips off his sweatshirt. The pet inside senses a presence, claws tearing the fabric and snaps its head to the source. Asakura realizes enemies are 3 hours away. He thinks if Nick found someone with wind magic, they need more caution. Daiichi wonders how to warn the others. Alicia calls from behind Asakura, pointing ahead with a serious look. 3 people are 5 kilometers out. Asakura sighs in relief, glad he didn't have to puzzle over how to tell the guys about strangers. Daiichi realizes they're close and pulls out binoculars. Surprised, Dennis asks what he's holding, wishing he had them. Daiichi explains they're binoculars to see far away. The guy hands Dennis the binoculars. Dennis looks through and screams as distant objects zoom right into his face. Daiichi whispers to Karina, spotting a glint in the bushes through his binoculars, then points to Dennis, who's busy testing his new gear. He looked around, accidentally spotting glitter. Nick's instinct made it happen. Perina closes her eyes, ready to give her group new orders. She spots an unknown group just 2 kilometers out. They lack details, so they must widen their search. Dennis watches Karina through binoculars, demanding extreme caution from her in danger. Frida's proud of Karina and nods, confirming his words. Karina tells Alicia she needs her. Determined, she'll follow the captain's orders. Physical buffs activate as Karina rallies the team. Frida and Dennis raise shields while Karina tells Daiichi to draw hers. Suddenly, Asakura unveils a massive body-covering shield, shocking everyone with its bizarre size. Karina suggests a simpler shield, but Alicia is inspired. She thinks a sturdy shield is perfect for charging in and swinging wildly. The guys are stuck. Alicia sketches a map with a branch, revealing a cave 2 kilometers away. This cave holds an unknown group of humans or beastmen. Alicia's horrified. The unknown group has over 50 members, possibly even 60. Guys react differently to Alicia, who claims that's all she felt, but finding more is tough since the unknown group hides inside the cave. Dennis figures it's a secret group doing shady stuff in a cave. Frida warned against quick judgments, but conceded it looked suspicious. Karina had enough info from Alicia and waved her off. Asakura thinks they're too cautious. Hearing this, Frida and Dennis exchanged glances, then laughed. Dennis spots beastmen in the group, and Frida warns their sharp noses might already smell them. Dennis says to retreat and gather more info, but no one returns empty-handed. Frida commends them for learning the group's approximate numbers and finding their hideouts. Frida and Dennis laugh loudly. They believe even this little info will earn them a special reward. Asakura scratched his cheek, getting exactly what the guys were trying to say. Dennis gets behind Daiichi, taps his shoulder, asking what's vital for security. Asakura tells him to spill it. Dennis winks, then says, honesty. Daiichi recalls his cover story, a foreigner visiting relatives paying with silver. The smirking guy thanks him, now he gets the point. Karina tells Daiichi they're leaving, while Frida blows a kiss, saying she loves honest guys. Sakura blushed, embarrassed, as Dennis flies up, elbows him, grilling him about falling in love. He leaves the sensor at a tree trunk before leaving. They reach the camp, and Asakura froze. The once bustling site was now just an empty field. Karina says everyone moved to the ancient one, as the campers stash their gear in a nearby village. Karina sees villagers watching the newcomer, who wonders where the robbers vanished and what if they suddenly return. Karina explains their group won't fight criminals, so all's clear. Dennis warns many guards can prevent an attack, but their group's strength guarantees victory. An ambassador's gone to the knight's order. They must distract the enemy in the village until the knights arrive. Sakura Daiichi finally gets it. Dennis warns, enemies far outnumber them. Frietta suggests asking villagers for help, but doubts they'll believe them. Karina eyes the tent, deciding they must report first. Asaka realizes this is their camp and tells Karina. She responds they have no choice. Villagers support them. Dennis asks what the headman said. Karina replies, find reinforcements. Prieta remembers the village has civil defense. Karina thinks joining them would be ideal. Dennis says they have no choice if their village faces attack. Karina tells Dennis and Frida to rest until evening, then get back to work. Frieda wonders what Mrs. Karina will do. The girl says she will show Daichai's Main Street and Mrs. Elijah. Karina's calm shattered into horror. Frida and Dennis remembered their masters using Asakura's first name and instantly connected the dots. Karina waves her hands in denial, telling the guys they're wrong. Mr. Asakura just hates formalities. Dennis notices Karina never spoke to Asakura that way on the assignment. Frida confirms Karina's just worried about the mission. Perina flushed red, making Dennis suspect Karina's hiding a secret as she yells for them to stop. Dennis asks the guy his opinion. Asakura's suspicious. Karina acted weird, like she was actually worried. Daichi was miserable, secretly wishing they'd kill him. Any shift in Karina's behavior gave the duo a reason to mock him. Frieda pounces on Karina with hugs and girl talk, offering sisterly advice that Karina instantly shuts down. Dennis wants to talk to the girls. Karina snaps, pushing Frida away. She needs the jokes to end. Frieda winks at Asakura, asking if he thinks Karina's cute. Frieda winks at Asakura, asking if he thinks Karina's cute. Asakura thinks Karina looks pretty when worried, but even cuter now. Daichi wonders why he's being so blunt. Karina's confused, disbelieving the words she just heard. Frida and Dennis stood behind, holding hands, moved by the confession. Asakura grabs Karina's hand, pulls her away, telling Frida and Dennis they still need to open their store. Karina blushes at his touch. Frida and Dennis smiled, waving Karina on. Karina's confused why they wish her luck. She and Asakura are just browsing. The group splits while Frida and Dennis keep partying. Karina thinks they're out of earshot as she and Daichi enter the village. With 2 hours left, Daichi suggests testing the locals' reactions. Karina turns away, says maybe no fuss since few people are on the street today. Alicia sees Karina excited, asks if she missed anything. Karina snaps out of it, tells Alicia she missed nothing important. Alicia fixes Karina with a hypnotic gaze, then places a hand on her shoulder, claiming something happened. Again embarrassed, Karina said it wasn't serious. Karina distracts Alicia by rushing the store opening. They only have 2 hours left and can't afford any delays. Sakura waves Karina and Alicia over, signaling them to stay alert. A guy approaches an elderly vendor and greets her. She asks if he wants to buy something. Sakura declares he'll offer the women goods and asked for a moment. He piles stacks of boxes on the table, catching a nearby vendor's eye. The woman praises his great boxes, even envying Asakura Daichi. The woman finds it strange that, getting older, she grows more jealous of people with boxes. The girl next to her nodded, smiling sweetly. Asakura asks how they lit the fire. A woman sparks silicon to show him, and a nearby girl confirms it. She cups her cheeks and sighs, noting that since most lack magic, these artifacts cost a fortune. Asakura smiles, offering them a cheap tool to start fires without magic. The woman was shocked. Daichi pulled a match, then asked for her palm. Confidently, Asakura guided the woman's match hand along the box. Fire instantly sparked, throwing the girl and woman into shock. The crowd noticed instantly, stunned that a flame ignited without magic. They traded shocked looks, desperate to uncover the secret. Karina and Alicia were hyped as demand surged, while Asakura knew this was just the first step to the top. Asakura spreads her arms to settle the crowd, promising enough matches so no one leaves empty-handed. The guy says he distributes lists by queue order, so pushing is pointless. Crowds mobbed the counter for a rare product that lights fire without magic. The girl got matches, lit one, and was shocked she could make fire without magic, thanks to these unusual sticks. Asakura brings a barred vat and shows her the igniter to torch the wood, but it's a one-shot deal. She nods, but Asakura knows she's still confused. Daichi offers a demo, tossing a match into the doused wood. Flames instantly ignite every tablet. Everyone watched, stunned. A man saw the flame instantly engulf the wood, shocked by its speed and power. Sakura says buyers noticed matches light fires without magic. An incendiary makes small flames grow, lighting any firewood. He regretfully reveals his products have one catch. They're all disposable. Customers were disappointed, realizing they couldn't reuse them. Sakura, smiling slightly, announces 25 matches cost 2 silver coins, highlighting quality to attract customers. 60 fire starters in a box for just 1 silver coin. Everyone gasped. Asakura recalls Klaus predicted this exact reaction. The guy loudly asks residents to buy his goods, confident and energetic, smiling, ready for more sales. A gloved hand rises. A determined girl declares she'll buy both products. All eyes turn to her. She confidently waits. She pays with 3 silver coins. Ichi gratefully thanks her, hoping it satisfies her, and she returns. Sakura asks her to stay, promising more to show. Surprised, she asks Daichi if he really has more goods. Sakura explains it's not a product, but a small bonus. He's sure others will love it. She agrees. He pulls an object from his bag, demands attention, and flaunts his small bonus. Sakura drops a grate over burning wood, leaving everyone baffled by the merchant's plan. Sakura slaps meat skewers on the grill, and a mouth-watering scent fills the air. The people around him asked what dish he'd cook. Daichi said he'd cook barbecue, meaning shish kebab, skewered chicken pieces with sauce. A pro-chicken chef is stunned by the dish, as the barbecue's insane aroma hooks the entire crowd. Daichi knows the poor only eat twice a day, but he's already hooked their appetite. Sakura grabs a shish kebab, calls the girl who eyed the last two products, and offers her a first bite. Sakura reveals this is the bonus he promised. The girl couldn't believe it was so easy to join the meal. Everyone watched her every move. One bite of the barbecue and her eyes popped. She'd never tasted anything this good. Sakura smiled, relieved the villagers loved the barbecue. The girl devoured her meal, asking for the sauce's secret ingredients and if it was for sale. Breathless onlookers watched, eyes glued to the action. The air crackled, everyone longed to join. Everyone rushed to the store, buying any product to taste the delicious dish. Some wondered if they could buy just one item. Sakura announces his barbecue. Try it free, even one item earns a portion. The crowd stormed the counter, convinced 2 sets meant double the barbecue. Swamped with customers, the guy asked them to wait. He grabbed 2 servings, then approached the woman next to his shop. Sakura bows and thanks the woman and girl for the spot, apologizing for the trouble. The woman tells Sakura not to worry, they're closing anyway. The guy gives them a huge shish kebab in gratitude. The pair thanked him for the treat with warm smiles, and he waved before heading back to work. Daichi barely barked orders, too exhausted to even know what he was doing, while Karina and Alicia ate barbecue behind him. With the girl and old woman finally gone, Sakura announces his story's closing, urging quick product purchases. Suddenly, men approach the counter, mockingly noting his booming business as they greedily watch him close shop, eager to work. He knows they're just threatening, then asks Sakura for free chicken. Sakura smiles apologetically. All chicken sold out. Demand was unexpectedly high. The men instantly got angry, insulting the guy. One yelled he saw Sakura put the chicken in his bag. He bows, announcing the store's closing, but promises to return tomorrow with his goods for them to buy. Men find her customer attitude unacceptable. They'll teach Sakura proper business. 2 newcomers charged the guy, but Karina's sword flashed, blocking their path as she glared at the intruders, standing between the man and Sakura. A man points, warning her she's innocent but must leave or get hurt. Eyepatch knows why. They face a class magician. Karina wears B and C keyrings on her pinky. The men are stunned. Sakura's clueless. They treat Karina like a lady, asking her purpose if she's uninvolved. Karina explains she's his security. Her cold gaze, like a blade, pierces to the bone, making men tense, sensing her fierce, unyielding threat. One man scowls, asking Karina if she can really handle 4 skilled fighters. Grinning, she tilts her head to terrify the men, warning them not to underestimate her or they'll regret it. Realizing they couldn't trick the wary guy and all goods sold, the men left, giving the guy and Karina one last look. Suddenly a voice asks what happened. A scarred man sits higher up, asking about problems. One man recognizes Alan, visibly brightens, surprised to see him here, wondering how his friend stayed in this place so long. Alan offers to solve the guy's problems, making the man smile slyly and promise great gratitude. He smirks at Karina, asking if she's left her salesman boyfriend yet. He adds guys like him never succeed, wondering how long she'll tolerate him, but Karina just frowns, not rushing to answer. Karina looked at Sakura thoughtfully, as if waiting for him to make a decision. The latter, a little embarrassed, immediately began to apologize and explain that all the goods were sold out, and there was nothing left in stock. The men raged, finding the treatment humiliating. Their patience gone, they demanded to meet Sakura and deal with him. Sakura covered his mouth, pretending the men misunderstood. Daichi mocks them, calling them fools, and the men snap, utterly enraged. They all agreed the merchant needs to pay up fast. Angry men crowded the street, led by a guy with a massive facial scar. They glared at a dark-haired boy and a blonde girl with a flowered ponytail. Alicia Hartland cheerfully held a knit cat, owned by a dark-haired Daichi, waving its paws. Scarred Alan raised his hand, closed his eyes, asked them why they were silent. Blonde man confronted Alan, declaring the guys underestimated their power and would be punished, as Flower Girl, Karina, and Daichi grimaced. Alan asked the blonde why he hadn't punished the guys himself, suspecting he's just afraid of Karina and Daichi. Alan's gang erupted in laughter. Blonde man nervously pointed at Karina, shouting he was cautious because she's a B-class magician. Karina stood calmly, looking at her hands. Alan and his crew froze mid-laugh, paralyzed by what they just heard. Alan flashes a sinister grin, admits his inattention, and says he never would have guessed who they were. Alan leaps up, drawing his sword, confronting Karinza and Daichi. He declares Karina isn't the only magician, and his gang echoes him. Alan's smirking gang drew blades, charged the guys, warning them of the coming battle. Karina and Daichi braced for battle. Karina warned him to stay sharp as Daichi spotted 2 thugs ahead and a mage closing in from behind. Armed men closed in on Daichi. He could handle physical buffs, but magic meant bullets wouldn't save him. Karina asks Daichi to handle one of the attackers. Daichi looks back, speechless. Stunned Karina finally asked for help. Her beauty fuels his drive to defeat the robbers. Daichi charges both men, cupping his hands to summon a swirling energy cloud. Daichi shouts to Karina he'll take 2 men. Karina shouts back to just defeat the front one. Alan demanded their discussion as sword-wielding men attacked. Daichi waited. Light flashed. After the flash, bandits lay bleeding on the ground, hands clutching their wounds. The blonde and his gang knelt, heads down before Karina, arms crossed, waiting for their words as Daichi watched her, surprised. Karina narrowed her eyes, confronting the blonde who caused the brawl between the guys and bandits. The grinning blonde man claims he forgot his point and asks the bandits if they have questions for Karina. They nervously wave him off. Daichi squatted before the blonde man, needing answers. Scared, the blonde man said he'd answer any question Daichi had. Daichi calmly asked if bandits were hired to destroy goblins. The man instantly agreed. The man revealed they were city-registered adventurers, then pointed at the other man, confirming their squads accepted the request. The blonde insisted Alan's party lacked permission. Alan struggled, gasping for air. Squatting low, Daichi studied the blonde man and asked for the goblin count, but the man wouldn't give a straight answer. Daichi squinted evilly, demanding the exact goblin count. Horrified, the blonde reported his squad caught no goblins. The other leader, equally horrified, confirmed his squad found 02. Daichi processed this. The gang leader, who barely caught a goblin, pointed at his wounded men. He boasted these bandits caught 11 goblins and killed them. One of the beaten men knelt with bloody hands, paralyzed with horror as they pointed him out and mentioned the goblin massacre. Daichi bent over a defeated man, asking if his gang killed goblins. The man confirmed it. Daichi glared, eyes narrowed. He demanded to know about the man and his squad. The man flinched, looked down, and fell silent. Daichi offered a hand to the silent, wounded man, then spun to demand names from the other. Eye-patch-wearing Daichi addressed him. The blindfolded man didn't immediately realize it. Karina then intervened, telling him to name the wounded squad members. The bandaged man nervously revealed his squad had 4 members. Bandaged man pointed to a long-haired blonde attacker, a water healer. The blindfolded man told his 2 attackers they outran the squad since they couldn't use magic. These men knelt, covering battle wounds with their hands. The blindfolded magic user last points at Alan, apart and silent. Daichi eyed his defeated men. They were a balanced team, easily crushing 11 goblins, yet he still doubted something. Daichi stood tall, raised his hand, and asked the crowd if they all had the quest to hunt Torreno's goblins. A blindfolded, mustached man raised a hand. His squad and a squad of defeated magicians just got the request. Daichi imagined the bloodthirsty monsters and asked the blindfolded man why they'd prevented goblin attacks all this time. The man replied that in their 10 days in the village, they hadn't seen any goblins. Blindfolded man claimed magicians appeared in the village, then goblins attacked 3 days later. Daichi told the blindfolded man they were lucky to leave the village before goblins attacked, or they'd be hurt. Blindfolded man agrees with Daichi. Daichi then turns to the vulnerable men, but a water magician diverts his attention. Daichi addressed the defeated magicians, asking how they beat the goblins, curious if it was true and how many. The water mage said they reached the village and immediately charged into the forest to hunt monsters. The water mage recalled squads reported no goblins in 10 years. Suspecting monsters hid, they searched the forest's deep thicket. Daichi asked if the mages found the monster lair. The water mage closed his eyes, shaking his head no. Daichi looked at him, then fell silent. He glanced at Karina, she met his gaze, then snapped away. Daichi, hand on chin, closed his eyes. Daichi demanded silence, then asked the men their next move. Karina stood nearby, gazing down. Weapons stacked. They debated the squad's fate, turn them over to local government, or release them if they rethink. Hearing liberation, the detachments roared in unison. The noise annoyed Karina but surprised Daichi. Karina turned from the cheering crowd, urging them to tell Klaus and Jeffrey everything. Daichi stood, eyes closed. Alicia stood beside him, holding Nick the cat. Daichi eyes the water mage, who sat silent, head bowed on the ground. Daichi stared at the water mage, realizing a squad of magicians could easily slaughter the goblins and hunt them in the forest bowl. Daichi backed away, deeply unsettled by the water mage's suspicious story. Daichi watched the mage even with his back turned, sensing he wouldn't talk easily. Behind him, the magician stared as he walked away. Carino followed an old man through camp, past tents and torches. Before bandits attacked Tarino village, 2 squads hunted goblins. Karina met the CEO with new information. He glanced at her, turned, and asked what she felt there. An old man entered a tent. Karina followed, lifting the flap, and warned, 4 magicians have a dark aura. Don't trust them or any other adventurers. An elderly man pushed a chair aside, then asked Karina her thoughts on the bandit agreement. Karina warned the group to stay alert as the old man sat down. An old man sat at a lamplit table, scratching his beard. He questioned if Daichi truly found it all himself, as Karina stood before him. Karina recalls Daichi's cheerful greetings. She and an old man discuss his kiosk, linking the plan to the Torreno village incident. The old man leaned forward, chin in hand. He's sending his crew tonight for intel, but Daichi must stay out of it. Biting her lip, Karina immediately bowed to the elder, eyes closed, and apologized. The old man gripped his cup as she revealed Daichi secretly contacted the squad through a kiosk, something no one imagined. An old man asked Karina if the adventurers noticed it. His actions seemed suspicious. They recalled Daichi bandits' interrogation. The old man fears no village attack, only bandits hitting his caravan on the road. Karina watched the old man warn her not to dig deeper. Then he shut his eyes and sat still. The older man looked at Karina, hand to face, asking her about Daichi. Karina, serious, replied Daichi had boundless conscientiousness. Karina recalls Daichi walking away, realizing he's more than just magic. He's brilliant and clearly far more educated than her. An old man shifted coins, listening to Karina claim he did mental math without paper or pen, fast and flawlessly. The old man sipped his drink, admitting he'd also seen Daichi's calculating skill. Not even top merchants could count and sign contracts that fast. Karina recalled practicing attack magic with Daichi in the forest. His defeat distance calculation shocked her. Her story equally surprised the old man. Frowning, the old man touched his face, asking Karina if she recalled the formula Daichi knew. Karina shook her head no. Kina told him she didn't understand and would never remember. Karina remembered Daichi's calculations, complex but approximate. He looked like a university professor. Karina remembered when Daichi got tired of calculating, he used a strange measuring device, pointing it at a tree to calculate distance. The man listened, surprised. The old man raised his glass, claiming Daichi was secret royalty or a noble back home. Karina interrupted the man. Daichi could be a rich, peaceful, noble heir or a spoiled son. The old man drank, then surprised, asked Karina why she thought so about Daichi. Karina's eyes narrowed as she accused Daichi of taking everything too lightly. Karina glared, telling Daichi he couldn't solve anything since others always cleaned up his messes. Karina remembered Daichi performing for a smiling Alicia. Story finished, she stood frozen. The old man set the cup down. Karina pushed for a stronger response to Daichi, surprising and intriguing him. Karina ordered Daichi be watched as closely as a secret royal heir. The old man intertwined his fingers. He questioned Karina's offer. Karina raised a hand, warning Daichi's too dangerous even for their country. He wields top-tier, attribute-less magic, and his bag holds unseen curiosities. Karina, headscarf high, added Daichi is highly educated. He escapes any situation using his surroundings and others. Karina remembers Daichi, hand forward, magic surging, surrounded by a machine gun, light bulb, phone. He'd seize the country. Hirna's face tightened, sweat beading as she closed her eyes, lost in thought. Kinda clasped her hands behind her back, suggesting Daichi could rule a magically advanced country. Karina grew wary, narrowing her gaze. Daichi's influence in their country is too strong. The old man sighed, hand pressed to his face. Scowling, the old man warned that Karina, daughter of the royal faction's Count Crusher, would destroy Daichi however she pleased. His words enraged Karina, her face twisting with anger as she yelled and stepped towards him. the tense atmosphere heavy as she slammed her hands on the table, the man staring back, unmoving. He spread his arms and smirked, telling her it was all a joke. Karina's eyes blazed, brows furrowed. She warned, Yendorf's situation makes this joke deadly for an old man. Scratching his nose, the old man warned, without Daichai's status at home, two factions will battle for his goods and knowledge. Karina declared the faction backing him gains more influence. Karina stood before a dark castle, warning that Daichi could be led in the wrong direction. The old man twirled his mustache, glaring menacingly at Karina, demanding they stop Daichi from fleeing the country. Guys trek through the city, surrounded by houses and trees. Daichi trails them, a sword on his back. Daichi threw his hands back, asking why they'd all gathered. His dark-haired companion, hair in a hyponetil and gloved hands, turns to Daichi, smiling as she asks why he dislikes her company. Ponytail girl leaned into Daichi, smiling, asking if he'd want her on the team. Daichi sheepishly agreed. The girl smiled, pointed at Dennis, and offered, if Daichi dislikes him, I'll scold him or we'll just swap him for a girl. Dennis crossed his arms, furious. Ponytail girl insisted the team needed beautiful girls, not old men. 3 smiling girls then arrived, a dark-haired, a uniformed, and a helmeted one. Blushing, Daichi rejected the team's offer while Nick peeked from his shirt, and Alicia smiled behind him. Blushing, the ponytail girl tells Dennis he's lucky Daichi kept him on the team, leaving him speechless and red-faced. Karina ordered the guys to stick to the plan and ambush the bandits. Karina told Daichi Dennis and Frida are B-rank magicians, skilled in both melee and ranged combat. Daichi walked, wooden roofs flashing by. He realized rank magicians matched Karina's strength. Daichi noted Karina's wind magic, but thought if the guys had fire magic, they'd be stronger. He praised them, surprising them. Dennis grinned, scratching his prickly chin, pleased by Daichi's praise. Phryne blushed, smiling. Bertram's security uses only D-rank plus magicians, so she feels no fear. Daichi and the guys outside, he turned, admitting he didn't fully grasp the rumors of Bertram's incredibly strong guards. Neighbors filled the wooden houses while kids played in the street. Dennis grinned, claiming the world saw them as just a regular security company. Perino leads, saying without turning, Dennis now masters terrifying mass attack magic in battle. The guys followed, listening. Exhausted, Daichi closed his eyes as light erupted from his body. He considered ditching the group, a move Frietta called effective and Dennis fully backed. Perina stopped, eyeing a barrel on a chain as the guy halted nearby. A chained barrel on the house corner signaled a bar. Karina silenced everyone. Daichi looked up, surprised, as a knit cat popped from his shirt collar, growling. Daichi nervously eyed the angry cat, curious why it reacted so, as Alicia approached, waving a finger before its face, just as curious. The cat ignored everything, meowing angrily. Daichi figured Nick's spirit magic sensed bandits in the bar and quickly warned the guys. Daichi, Karina, and Nick's cat talked. Karina asked Daichi what he learned about bandits from the cat. Daichi winked, agreeing. Karina grinned, raising her hand and claiming she'd easily crush any bandits. Dennis led the squad inside. The guys spot a small tavern with stairs leading up. Below, men chug from massive mugs and clink them over plates of food. They entered. Dennis licked his lips, scanning. Karina followed Daichi, deep inside, others behind. Karina intently eyed the place until something on the side caught her attention. Squinting, she announced she found their targets. Surprised, Daichi stepped behind her. The guys spot the 4 men they'd already beaten sitting by the stairs, eating and drinking as a waitress walks past. Alicia approached Daichi, yawning into her hand, and praised his good work. Daichi noticed a bandit's leg, pants ripped, wound gone. He'd already been healed. Remembering the wounded bandit, Karina warned a Valo magic user could heal him in minutes. Daichi revealed his drawn fighters. Rubbing his chin, he said they needed minutes, but Karina shot back that her wounds heal in 3. Daichi told Karina he figured they'd just pose as bar customers. Karina closed her eyes, lowered her head, saying it was no longer necessary. Dennis squatted down in a sulk, desperate for a drink. Freedom smiled, patted dejected Dennis, and suggested they grab booze and wait outside. Dennis grabbed a jug from a mustached old man. Karina and a hooded figure waited by the street cart. The 4 target bandits left the bar. Karina watched them from the corner, announcing they'd left the village. Dennis and Alicia approached Karina. Dennis asked why bandits went to the forest so late. They trailed the retreating men, someone shouting they didn't need the forest to signal for backup. Peeking around the corner, Dennis and Alicia Karina suspected the bandits' contact hid in the forest, delivering him a letter detailing the village's situation. Dennis rubbed his nose, smirking that Bertram's guards were sharper than he imagined. 4 men walked through the dark forest. One had a large sword. One guy said if the mission fails or goes wrong, they'd call for backup. Guys hide in bushes. Karina leads others behind. They scan, then Alicia spots something. Alicia sharply, wearily warns someone hides in the grass. Dennis and Karina turn to her. Alicia and the guys take off, warily moving through the forest as she leads. The guys spot a grassy field. Alicia and others hide there, but she warns it's bad, startling Deiche, who stares into the distance. Alicia gravely stated that if the bandits are right, a vigilante is their mole. Dennis, squatting, said monster hunters normally get info from locals, but Frida added there are many gaps in residents' knowledge. Deiche asked Dennis about hunter strength. Dennis replied goblins are trouble in packs. They're stupid, but their numbers overwhelm. Frida smiled, saying territory exploration paralleled the hunt. Deiche's suspicions were right. If these monsters outclassed or outnumbered the goblins, he'd need serious reinforcements. Daichi armed goblin puppets, realizing the village could beat the goblin threat and grasping Torin's attack plan. It showed bandits unleashing goblins on villagers. Villagers sought guild protection, but bandits infiltrated adventurers to gauge their strength. Alicia tells the group the bandits don't want the village. They're here to crush Bertram's squad and raid the other side. Daichai suspected the plan to rob the village and dodge Bertram's company was way too suspicious. As bandits met another group in the field, Kina said they didn't know about the ambush, but Alicia replied they were on lookout. Karina knelt, asking Alicia to broadcast the bandits' conversation. Alicia agreed and shut her eyes. Daichai heard a bandit's voice, surprised. He kept hearing voices saying Bertram's caravan was in town, vigilantes acting suspicious. Alicia's power stunned Daichi. Karina revealed her wind magic let them hear the bandits. A bandit claimed the vigilantes forgot something in the village. Bandit teams met. A scarred bandit revealed their focus on Torin's situation, stunning the others. Daichi and his crew sat in the grass, listening to the bandits negotiate. A bandit recognized the village, same one they hit last time, and the others confirmed. The hump-nosed bandit claims you killed everyone, and Daichi's face instantly hardens. Another bandit said Bertram's group hadn't moved after the village incident. The humpy-faced bandit replied it was too early to confirm, and his companion asked what's next. Frida and Dennis focused. The bandit boasted they were lucky Bertram's company gathered here. The crooked-nosed one declared they'd hit the jackpot, far more than that village. The guys crouched, watching the bandits' negotiations. They celebrated, relieved. The scarred bandit remembered Daichai and Kayana's defeat, tensing as he repeated his warning. The guards were dangerous. Crooked Nose claimed only 2 guards could fight, but Scarface warned they were still deadly as the crew stood silent. The smirking, abandoned man with a crooked nose revealed a guard was a B-class magician, then reassured them everything would be fine, as 5 dark silhouettes stood nearby. Rhonda's 5 magicians now here too. Hearing this, Daichai, his hidden cat, and the crew were shocked. Daichi feared these bandits were on the same level as them. Karina frowned. It won't be easy. Karina told the guys she reported on bandits. Behind her, Daichi clutched a cat as Alicia smiled stupidly. Alicia startled Daichi. Smiling, she asked him about his parents. Girl screamed Daichi's revolutionary theology created world-class inventions. Daichi stood next to her, confused. She scared him, so he nervously agreed. Daichi hesitated, wondering if he should tell Alicia the truth. He barely understood these items himself, and they weren't even tech, just simple goods. Daichi crossed his arms, desperate for a distraction to make Alicia forget her question. As the kitten yawned, Daichi got an idea, offering Alicia information that delighted her. Daichi shouted cats are popular back home. He pointed, the cat pricked its ears, and Alicia gasped. Daichi and Alicia discussed his home's cat obsession, while the kitten sat and watched. Alicia loves cats but thinks they're unpopular here. Daichi insists they're huge, so Alicia quickly agrees. Daichi presented an image of a man bowing to a cat, recalling a cafe. He told Alicia 1 in 10 in his country owns a cat, and cat cafes praise felines. Daichi recalled cat photos going viral online, explaining to Alicia how one pic could spread for miles. Daichi shouted that his country is obsessed with cat-themed gear, remembering cat houses and graphic tees. Daichi's story shocked Alicia, overwhelming her with delight. She couldn't believe objects turned into cats, so she clasped her hands to her heart in pure joy. Alicia got cat products, but questioned why normal items had cat shapes. Daichi laughed, rummaging his bag. Behind him, a handkerchief lay, a small torch burned. Daichi unpacked slippers, a watch, and a seal mug, claiming they're irresistible after one look. Alicia cringed with delight, clenching her teeth, blushing, and muttering, "Cute." Daiichi listed cat-shaped plates, pillows, and adapters, while Alicia called everything sweet, even if she had no clue what an adapter was. Alicia collapsed delighted, then declared she understood Daiichi. Cats are cute. Alicia struggled to her feet, expecting nothing less from Daiichi's homeland. They mastered everything from tech to household items. Daiichi smiled from the side. Alicia wept, head bowed, screaming to make cat-shaped tools. She always dreamed of magic, but never such ideas. Daiichi gripped Alicia's bare shoulder, telling her not to worry. Alicia knelt as Daiichi knelt, holding her shoulder. He warned her not to imitate, or new ideas wouldn't come. As a creator, she's no less than Daiichi's best. Daiichi snapped, yelling that Alicia's loss was a total failure while a cat scratched its muzzle. Alicia watched him eagerly as he screamed for her to just enjoy the cats. Daiichi shielded Alicia, opening a tall door as dazzling light exploded forth. He told her to open the door to a new world, and Alicia enthusiastically shouted she would do it. Alicia begged Daiichi for lessons. He happily told her to just trust him, but secretly, tricking her was becoming a total drag. Daiichi told Alicia about cat traits, showing her a soft cat paw. Alicia didn't know what it was, so Daiichi replied it was a device for crushing soft cat paws. Daiichi showed a cat carrier. Alicia's never seen one. He revealed the cat inside. Alicia gasped, recognizing Nick. The cat hops out wearing bells, stunning a cellist with her cuteness. He rests his head on his paws, revealing wings on his back before turning around. A robot cat appeared, drink tray in paw. Nick the cat sat beside it, staring. It greeted everyone. Daiichi declared, "Tech plus cats." Alicia waved her hands, saying Daiichi needed more cat items. Daiichi shouted then they'd move on. Alicia transformed with ears, seal paws, and new clothes. He shouted she needed to act like a cute cat, so Alicia panicked and joined the game. Daiichi demands she start meowing. Alicia hides behind paw gloves, dying of embarrassment. Looking like a cat, Daiichi insists she end the app with a meow. Alicia twitched her gloved hands like cat paws, meowing with a wide mouth as she arched. Daiichi praised sweet Alicia as she sat on her lap with a tail and paws. Alicia meowed into her hands while Daiichi kept cheering. Alicia changed into cat pajamas, a hooded jumpsuit with ears, still meowing. Daiichi cried with delight. Daiichi bursts out, "Alicia's doing great, keep it up." A serious Karina materializes behind him, shocked by the scene. Daiichi's crew lay in ambush, listening to the bandits. He figured the 5 were B-ranked magicians. Hump-nosed bandits smiled, flanked by tall and short assistants. Daiichi saw their confidence. The scarred bandit bragged about fighting the guards, backed by 3 of his men. The scarred man urged them to wait for the guards to leave. Daiichi was shocked by the bandits' words. The gang leader taunted the man with the ball, asking if he feared the guards. He admitted he feared them. Surprised by the truth, he heard the scarred man call the girl dangerous. Her win made sense. But the guy's power baffled him, making Daiichi's image surface. Scarred man frowned. Daiichi shot his leg with lead. Hook-nosed man scratched his face, suspecting earth magic. Recalling Karin and Daiichi, the bandit declared magic wouldn't pierce his armor. It wasn't a magic spell. A bandit shouted 2 colleagues' legs blew off. That guy did it. The other replied, their own fault for dropping their guard. Dennis figured only 6 bandits hit the village, while Freed sat nearby, thinking it over. Scarred man scoffed, wasting time, shuffled his feet, and insisted they tell the village everything. The men left, promising a final decision tomorrow and telling him to pray the bandits cancel the raid. He agreed, but a sudden noise made him spin around. Karina urged the guys to go, past the trees, then the gorge and cliff appeared. Bandits swarmed the gorge, ringing barrels stacked by a wall, all eyes fixed on a human-sized, one-eyed cat. Crooked Nose mocked Eli's team for being careless after a female guard, and some guy crushed them. A man from the crowd questioned if a guard was a B-ranked magician. Sturdy, blonde, and bearded, he crossed his arms, awaiting an answer. He replied only one magician was there, a girl with a guild badge. Another dark-haired man asked if the guy they met was stronger than her. The hook-nosed man said Elaine noticed the boy, and he's way stronger than he looks. Men exchanged glances, then discussed their next moves. The hooded man said if these guys were Bertram's company, they would cause them trouble. The 3 men built in silence, pondering what happened. Many bandits heard negotiations. One declared they could beat them. Men doubted their abilities, fearing magicians. A bearded man from the ranks urged them to remember themselves and threaten. The bearded blonde roared for silence, and the dark-haired man and the scarred man turned. Behind the men, a young guy grinned, warning that if vigilantes moved, Bertram's company wouldn't help. He winked at a bearded blonde man who silenced the crowd, asking if the trap was set. Pete sat on the floor, leaning on a barrel. He said Bertram's company head joined the caravan. Pete suggested setting traps for vigilantes and tasked them to lure them. The blond man said vigilantes guarded the north gate, and Bertram's caravan waited at the south. The others listened. Hooknose confirmed Allen's report. Pete introduced the attackers, grinning that Bertram's company would back their north gate assault. The men debated looting or killing the vigilantes before backup arrived, but Pete stared in shock. There was nothing of value. The men buzzed with non-stop talk about all the new girls in the village. The blonde was dead serious, knowing they had no future. The blond man pondered his imperfect plan, riddled with nuances, weighing potential obstacles and solutions. Noisy men plotted to raid Bertram's company for their wagon's riches. A bearded man growled Bertram's company was too strong to raid. The bandits, hearing this, grew thoughtful. Pete rubbed his chin, warning that a mage of that rank is a serious threat. The blond man asked for Pete's take. Pete pictured Allen's face and dismissed him as too scared to matter. Pete stood, arms wide, warning that Bertram's crew are elites. Avoid clashing head-on to survive. Pete pondered, tongue out, hand to chin, then declared they needed a surprise attack. Stunned, the blond man asked how Pete would pull this off. Pete stood, arms outstretched, as bandits stared at him. Pete clapped his hands, grinning widely. He boasted they'd crush the Northgate warriors. Bandits cheered. Pete narrowed his eyes, claiming they'd defeat the vigilantes at Ram. Pete showed his drawing, claiming a solid defense would end the fight fast. Pete claimed if the vigilantes only defended, they could loot the village, and the bandits roared, raising their weapons for the win. Pete closed his eyes, smiling, sure the opponent would play along. Arms outstretched, Pete declared vigilantes weren't fools. They'd likely gather residents in the village center for protection. Curly-haired man warned, ditch vigilantes, Bertram's local company takes their place. The hooded and scarred men listened. Smiling, the curly-haired man claimed the vigilantes would split their forces, but Pete grimaced, knowing the man was the only real idiot. Pete, in a half-box, said vigilantes must defend. Arms crossed, he told the blonde they needed to buy time before Bertram's company arrived. The curly-haired man wondered what stopped them, eager to hit the village, rob empty houses until help arrived, then bail. The curly-haired man doubted Pete, insisting only a greedy fool would fail to escape before Bertram's company arrived. The curly-haired man crossed his arms, yelling they weren't fools and would leave in time. The bandit behind him gleefully agreed. Pete covered his face, lowered his head. Indignant, he couldn't understand why he was surrounded by fools. The curly-haired man calculated they'd escape with the loot before Bertram's reinforcements arrived. Pete showed the empty village houses, warning evacuation meant no money or supplies, a pointless effort leaving them with nothing. The curly-haired man asked the hooded man, why not just attack Bertram's caravan? The hooded man picked his nose, listening to their reasoning. Pete closed his eyes, an idea hit him. Pete warned that attacking Bertram's company means a direct fight they must avoid. These guys are way stronger than normal vigilantes. The curly-haired man blocked Pete, warning that ramming would trigger a counterattack. Pete grit his teeth, lips twitching. Pete grinned, hands clasped, declaring they were on the same page. The curly-haired man flushed, nodding. Pete drove past the curly-haired man, then briefed the bandits. Some forces stay south, others hit the village center as guerrillas. The bandits hung on his every word. Pete explained the attack plan, showing painted men. North, bandits attacked vigilantes. South held Bertram's company with a man in the center. Company partisans rushed north to aid vigilantes. Pete smiled, holding up a finger. Get rid of vigilantes, he said, and villagers lose all hope, leaving only Bertram's company. Pete said they'd ambush and rob Bertram's company before the knights helped the vigilantes. Bandits eyed unguarded, wealthy wagons. Two debated attacking Bertram's company, fearing residents would escape, but the second replied they'd just hide in the wagons. Bandits agreed on their plan, but a blond man revealed the vigilante attack was fake, and Pete planned to expose it. Pete threw up his hands, grinning as he agreed the blond man was right, sending the bandits into a panicked rage. Pete's face twisted into a sinister smile, ready to unleash their real plan. Bandits froze, the blonde grinned. Inside a village house, an old man slams the table in rage, terrifying two men nearby. An old man rose menacingly, surrounded by people at a headman's house, meeting about bandits hiding among the main group's adventurers. A man rearranged armored knights. The meeting discussed two issues, handling bandit intel and securing the village until knights arrive. The elder traced the leak to Takura village, suspecting the bandits used the same tactics, while Teiichi considered the news. Daiichi, Alicia, Frida, and Dennis sat at a table with Nick the cat and a jug, while Daiichi slumped onto his arms. Daiichi, head in arms, said they'd agree to the plan from the general meeting. His map showed a walled village with only 2 exits. Vigilantes held the north, and the company guarded the south. Daiichi introduced the little men, claiming they'd repel any attack. A company would move to the village center, allowing guerrillas to aid north-south and spot wall-breaching bandits. Daiichi evacuates northern and southern civilians to minimize damage, hiding them in shelters. Daiichi pitches his plan to Bertram's company. Remembering the old man's stern face, he has bandits disguised as adventurers guard the north gate with the vigilantes. Dennis declared Daiichi feared no planned failure. Even if they lost everything, a wisdom Daiichi recognized. Free scoffed, knowing villagers couldn't top their plan. Even if they could, they lacked time, forcing them to accept his. Daiichi gaped at Frida's frank story, but then he and Alicia heard something and looked away. Frieda said it was time to go. Dennis rose, hands on the table, then shifted to head for the restroom as window light lit the brick corridors. The guys met leader Karina and a man in a corridor, where she threateningly ordered them to follow the plan. Daiichi, Alicia, Karina, Dennis, and Frieda guarded Santa at the south gate, bracing for the bandit raid. The scarred Captain Jeffrey and his squad hold the village center, ready to back up any team in trouble. They ordered an immediate counterattack. The guys agreed as soldiers scrambled around camp with tents and wagons, but one distinct tent stood aside. In his tent, clutching a water bottle and gun, he doubted his weapon could fatally pierce the bandits' magic armor. Firearms surrounded Daiichi. He debated which caliber to grab. Daiichi imagined himself armed in uniform, but he still couldn't tell which bandit was a level B magician, so shooting everyone would be a mistake. Daiichi watched a shooting video, considering an indiscriminate attack to finish survivors, but chose to gas everyone instead. A cat distracts Daiichi, dropping a bundle next to various weapons. He assumes the cat just wants to play. A walkie-talkie on the table squawked with voices behind him. Daiichi froze. The radio revealed the plan was fake. Daiichi spun toward the table as the radio blared their true target, Bertram's company. Daiichi eyed the radio, grinning at the sound, then apologized to the cat, promising to play later. The cat watched Daiichi turn away. Sweating bullets, Daiichi stared at the walkie-talkie, terrified the plan was a fake as the cat watched beside him. Radio voices warned vigilantes were easy targets. They'd act differently. Pete smiled. Bertram's company was their real goal. The village could wait. This caravan opportunity won't always appear, so seize it. The blind man revealed their true purpose, the caravan's cargo. Pete needs the cargo, but he's really hunting their leader. A bandit asked if anyone recognized Bertram's head. Pete pointed at Joseph, claiming they both knew. Pete presented the painted man and revealed the trap. Their runner would drop a fake letter for the Northgate adventurer to find. The men fumed, arguing the letter would force the company to send troops to the vigilantes or just flood the village center with guards. Pete beamed with joy. Pete figured they'd center their army and keep elite guards close. Raising his hand, he warned that the boss's protectors are monsters who can crush anyone. The curly-haired man angrily pointed at Pete, reminding him he'd called Bertram's guards strong, yet now suggested bandits attack them. Pete smiled, closing one eye, claiming he and his 3 men would win, especially with a blonde boss. Hooded man warned they lacked strong rivals. Joseph must not burn them down. Men swore and threatened, told to calm down. The bandits cheered, determined to win. 5 of them flashed evil grins. Unlike the rest, these men were trained soldiers. Pete squinted, adding they needed to use them for confidence. All the bandits stared into the dark gorge, terrible sounds rising but saw nothing. Scared bandits peered into the dark. One declared they'd use their trump card, refusing to regret defeat. The bandit leader shouted that the plan was set. Alien's crew would hit the north gate tomorrow night, and he ordered me to send a fake letter. Bandits fanned out around the cave as their leader ordered a detailed report, shouting that they strike tomorrow night. Daiichi crouched by the radio, listening as a bandit confirmed Pete's warning. They'd attack tonight if they gathered in time. A voice asks to enter the tent, catching Daiichi off guard. Karina calls. Captain Jeffrey intercepted the bandits' plan, and the head needs Daiichi to discuss it ASAP. Daiichi confirms he's coming, then pockets his phone. Torchlight bathed the head's tent, a bandit's letter inside. The head raised a hand, declaring, "Bandits attack tonight." Daiichi and the guys listened as the head showed a letter. A patrolman caught a suspicious adventurer carrying a message for village bandits. The chief warned the bandits likely spotted the partisans in the village center. The chief scowled, warning the bandits' plan to slaughter the vigilantes and seize the northern gate fast. Painted men revealed the bandits' plan. They're the next target. Unable to win a group fight, the bandits will pick them off one by one. Dennis said this was the real bandits' plan. Frida, watching the boys thoughtfully, claimed their plan would fail without a strong leader, like those in the army or knightly order. Guys gathered around the head's table. Dennis questioned their summons, prompting the head to slam the table. The head roared, bandits won't get their way. Partisans are notified, rushing to the vigilantes. He ordered the guys to Northgate for backup. They listened, captivated. Dennis accepted the order, but asked what the head would do. The head stayed with the merchants, and Karina joined him. The boss leaned back, claiming his staff would protect him, and there was nothing to fear. Dennis told the head the guys would fight better, knowing he was safe. Frida insisted the head accept Karina's protection. He warned 5-level mages were with the bandits, so Karina's absence could cost them. Vichy remembered the radio negotiations and understood the bandits' plan. Daichi rushed to the head, shouting he must be heard before a decision. The head asked if it was urgent. Daichi called the talk urgent. Don't leave Southgate unguarded. The head fumed, not getting how Daichi's words swayed his call. Daichi places a gadget before the head, promising it will expose the bandits' entire scheme as a hoax, making the head stare in surprise at him and the device. The gadget buzzed. A voice said to give incorrect info about the attack. Another asked if they should lure Bertram's company into a trap. The guys stood shocked. The head hovered over the device as voices detailed their plan. He couldn't believe he was hearing a real human. Frida gasped, Dennis stared at the table. Karina clutched her head, Alicia grinned, as Daichi grabbed the device, revealing the bandits' true plan. The head asked about Daichi's tool, then dismissed it, now baffled by the device and its mysterious conversation. Daichi says they left the device a kilometer from here, in the forest behind the southern village bandits. Head reeled at the news. Daichi confirmed the recent talk. Then a loud shout, "Someone's coming!" Everyone startled, snapped towards the sound. A soldier bursts into the leader's tent, shouting the northern gates under attack. The men turn as he screams. They fired a signal into the sky. Brapley's head stands, leans on the table, pondering, when Daichi raises a hand, eyes closed, head bowed, announcing his plan. Pointing to the map, Daichi flips the bandits' strategy against them. Looking serious, he says it's simple. Daichi sketched the plan. Bandits strike from the south, so the team will outflank them and trap the path between the forest and the gate. Daichi pointed at the map as the guys watched intently. He promised it'd work, making the bandits believe it was their plan. Daichi briefed the men. Convinced bandits' southern forces moved to the northern gate. Hichi said he, Karina, Freed, Dennis, and Alicia stay with the caravan. Masked civilians head north. The leader baits the bandits by guarding the gate alone, while his crew flanks them for a surprise strike. Daichi cheered that even if their surprise attack failed, they'd buy time for head claws to reach the village center. Karina angrily slapped the table, calling it too dangerous. Daichi replied bandits would attack soon, no time to discuss risk. Kaina said bandits headed for the south gate, just bring everyone back. Dennis shot the plan down, while Frietta warned the bandits would beat any help. Guys met bandits in the village center to buy time before the northern squad arrived. But Karina argued vigilantes at the north gate would let company forces overwhelm everyone. Karina cheered, asking if she was right. Dennis countered that she'd only be correct if the fight was their only concern, as he and Frito stared her down. Headclose frowned, listening as Frietta warned the head wouldn't approve Karina's plan. Daichi closes his eyes, bows his head, crosses his arms. He suggests gathering bandits in the village center, but their real goal is to kidnap Klaus. Karina's shocked. Daichi reminds her of the Nonavac. Daichi turned to see Karina, her mood dark, fists clenched, head bowed. He faced Klaus's head, wondering their odds against the bandits. Daichi broke the silence. He had a secret weapon. The clan leader glared through steepled fingers, claiming Daichi's weapon could crush 60 bandits and 5 elite mages. They wondered if Daichi mastered mass destruction magic, or just a powerful tool. Daichi's lips tightened. He claimed he'd neutralize the bandits without killing them. His shocked companions stared, Klaus unable to grasp how. Karina slammed the table, pointing at Daichi, yelling he couldn't handle bandits and to stop being frivolous. Dennis' hand blocked her, holding her back. Dennis shields Karina. Karina is confused. Dennis said no one believed Daichi could handle the 60s bandits. Dennis frowned, doubting those bandits could still be alive. The head pointed, agreeing with Dennis, then pressed Daichi. How would he pull off this plan? Daichi pulled an item from his bag, wary of revealing his secret weapon. He held it to his face, explaining it was vital. He'd explain everything now. Daichi unveiled a secret weapon. The headscarf lay deserted, with torches and another handkerchief nearby. A quiet village, river, stone fence, bridge, house, then fields. Daichi and the guys waited outside, Daichi eyeing Alicia, suspended from the operation by the head's decision. Alicia opposed the head's decision, arguing attacking magic belonged outside the village, so Klaus backed down. Daichi figured Alicia specialized in ranged spells. Karina promised the plan would work, and Daichi turned to her. Daichi turned, admitting he hadn't fully convinced them. If the head found his plan too risky, his crew could abandon him. He'd finish it alone. If the plan fails, Daichi will launch a massive rifle attack. Alicia startles Daichi from behind, then smiles, ready to blast magic and help if he fails. Karina's screams shattered the silence. She refused to leave them alone, but without him, the plan's second phase would fail. Karina reached out, vowing to stay until the end. Even if the plan fails, they're leaving together, even if she has to carry them, before she abruptly turned away. Daichi nervously scratched his face, then smiled, telling Karina not to worry so much. Dennis, hand to face, questioned Daichi's unwavering confidence. Fried smiled, warning never to drop your guard, no matter the foe's strength. Karina scoffed Daichi's a top magician but lacks combat experience. Daichi was surprised. Kaina touched Daichi's chest, warning. Talented magicians fell to minor bandits from inexperience, and they all shared one trait. Karina twisted her face, calling magicians overconfident. Daichi looked surprised, thinking it was tough. Daichi coughed, fist to face, then closed his eyes. He quoted a homeland saying, "Know yourself, know your enemy, and hundreds of battles won't worry you." Karina looked shocked and confused, while Alicia smirked from behind. Daichi told Karina, "Know your strengths and your enemies, and you'll win every battle." Alicia admired Daichi's smarts, while Karina added she understood the saying's meaning. Daichi revealed they'd turned the enemy's plan against them, but Karina slammed his carelessness as the group talked. Daichi spread his hands, sensing their disbelief. They saw a naive boy, but he had knowledge, not experience. Daichi's historical reading gave him military strategy far beyond any student. Daichi wasn't scared of his first fight. He was hyped to test his skills. He stayed calm and serious until Alicia gasped, "They're here." Alicia screamed. Bandits were a kilometer away. Karina drew her sword, ordering everyone to prepare as Alicia cast reinforcement and protection on her. Daichi tenses as the bandits close in from a kilometer away. Then Alicia spots something. Alicia warns the guys. 6 royal monkeys and monsters join the bandits, charging them. Daichi grins, the others are shocked. Karina and Daichi rush to Alicia. The guys closed in to find the monkey master, only to see them moving. Daichi knew someone controls the royal monkeys, used in battle. Karina pointed to the forest, 66 bandits, including 6 royal monkeys. Karina looked at the forest. "This is bad." Dennis anxiously shouted there were more bandits than expected, plus 6 monkeys. Frida urged retreat. Karina tensed. Alicia shouts bandits speed up, Karina nearby. Sparks swirling, Daichi declared he'd stay to detain them, telling others to inform the head. He knew his plan didn't depend on opponent numbers. Furious, Karina affirmed Daichi wasn't talking nonsense. Daichi smiled, stating bandit numbers wouldn't affect his plan. He just needed more shells. Karina gasped, shocked, looking at Daichi. Alicia declared she'd stay with Daichi, leaving both Karina and Daichi stunned. Alicia's attacking magic was useless in the village, but she smiled, saying body-strengthening magic would let her match Daichi. Karina insisted she led the squad. Alicia interrupted, bandits 700 meters away. Karina flinched. They wouldn't budge. Karina and Frida stood by him. Furious, Karina clenched her fists, shouting she'd stay with the boys and Frida and Daichi must help. Frida drew her sword. Dennis relied on Daichi. Daichi looked at the guys, smiled, and flashed a thumbs up. Road to forest remained empty. Alicia reported bandits 600 meters out. Guys took positions, ready to attack. Alicia raised her hand. Daichi saw the signal. Distance now 500 meters. Guys stared at Alicia's hand. Alicia curled a finger, showing 4. Daichi stroked the cat peeking from his bosom. Alicia's hand, 3 fingers, then 2. Bandits swarmed the field, nearing, their faces now clear. Daichi gritted his teeth. With 200 meters left, he already saw their faces. Could he get a weapon in time if the decontamination plan failed? Alicia's last finger uncurled, bandits in range. The guys shut their eyes, covered their ears as Daichi stretched, unleashing grenades from the sky. Bandits watched grenades fall, surprised as stunned grenades rained down, a bright flash erupting, stunning them. The grenade blasts Pete and the bandits in a blinding flash. Daichi shielded his eyes from the flash, bracing for the explosion. Once it settled, he stood up to see if the plan worked. Blinded bandits clutched their eyes, some frozen and others collapsed, struggling to recover alongside the fallen royal monkeys. Daichi smiled at the bandits. Karina, eyes and ears covered, got a tap from Daiichi, signaling her to look. Balls of spinning light filled the sky as bandits lay defeated. Dennis watched in fright, utterly confused. Frito scanned the field, suspecting hidden bandits. Karina glared, demanding his name, but Daiichi stood motionless. Daiichi declared it was time to capture the bandits. Then the group charged toward their huddle. Karina trailed Daiichi, eyes locked on him. Daiichi figured the guy just needed time to adjust. Daiichi prepped his gear, tapping the network to blind the bandits' foresight while safely unleashing his magic.